Oh, there's a flat rock.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, March 18th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1330.
This is No Agenda.
Debating the Green and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where there are 2 3s in the show number, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Happy Sunday. Or was it Thursday? I can't remember.
Well, you know,
all
at
the
some
day.
point.
You know, check this out. So we have a couple that we're couples friends with. This is the Hollywood entertainment executive who escaped to Austin from Brooklyn.
Yes.
We've been out a couple times, and Tina has gone to lunch with her, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just ask this guy. You don't want to go out to lunch. So now my days, they're really strange. I don't know. I really sometimes don't know if it's Thursday or Sunday. It's a show day. That's all I know. Tina has irregular work days. Sometimes she works Saturday or Sunday. Some she doesn't.
Yeah, it's screwed up.
So I really don't know where I'm at. And so I said, how about lunch? He says, well, sure, that'd be great. Thursday. Like, no, that's not going to work. Thanks for remembering. And so we wind up with, I'm like, how about drinks Friday? We'll go out to dinner. Okay. I got it. The keeper was like, what are you, going on a date? I guess because all these days flow together for me, like every day is either date night or not. But is that weird if you ask a full grown man to go to dinner on Friday night? Something about Friday night.
I think I would agree with your wife.
Oh,
that night's reserved for her, or she has to say, I don't want to go to dinner. Why don't you go out with what's his name? She has to give you the okay.
I'm sorry.
Probably in advance of you even asking.
Probably a month ahead of time. Oh, okay.
No, it doesn't have to be that long. It could be like Monday.
I just thought it was funny. But that's what it is with my days. I really don't remember. All I know is it was a year ago, more or less, that we really started reporting all this stuff. A whole year ago.
Over a year.
Yeah,
we actually started reporting it before it became a thing.
In February, I believe. I remember the videos. We were talking about the TikTok videos. Those were the first things to show up, where people in Wuhan were falling down dead on the street.
They were all staged.
Yeah. So we went from that a year ago, over a year ago, of which we have not taken a show off, which is okay because it was good for us too.
True. We have not taken a show off through the whole COVID pandemic. We've been rewarded with a fairly decent amount of donations because of COVID, and also because we picked up some Joe Rogan listeners who are generous, of a generous sort. But you're right. It's been a whole year without taking one single lone day.
Not one show day.
For any reason, including getting COVID.
And, it's right. And now a year later, let's assess where we're at. Here in Texas, we are free to go wherever we want. The virtue signaling in Austin has kept everything pretty much the same, although the spin studio, people are still wearing masks, but
while exercising.
No, not while exercising. But it was packed now, so the occupancy has gone up to 100%. So that's all cool. But in your neck of the woods, what a difference a year makes.
Try not to scream because it's not allowed on thrill rides at Disneyland, Knott's, and all other California theme parks. That's right. You'll have to ride roller coasters in silence, they say. It's part of the proposed new COVID safety guidelines. Screaming and shouting in public increases the risk for the virus to spread. The plan is being backed by the California Attractions and Parks Association.
Yes, additional information. If you're recording a podcast, you need to keep your window closed. Is if you, when podcasting, you could be spewing COVID.
Let me ask a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
This is based on the fact that it's believed that the COVID virus just permeates the mouth and back of the throat, and so when you scream, the sputum from your mouth, tongue area, goes streaming into the atmosphere, and it can infect somebody else.
Someone else who's behind you also screaming could catch that loogie.
Now, the question in my mind is, if that's true, why does the testing have to involve going up the nose and down the throat when your mouth is obviously filled with COVID viruses, or you wouldn't need these rules?
I'll do you one better on this, and I'm very, very excited about this. NASCAR just announced at the Atlanta Motor Speedway they will be using COVID detecting dogs, and I'm very excited because if this is true,
okay, that's the topper.
If this is true,
you win the show.
Then if this is true, then you can don't swab me. Just have your dog sniff me. That happens at the airport. I'm okay. In fact, NASCAR went so far as to say in a bulletin sent to teams, quote, "These dogs have shown to be as effective as PCR tests in identifying an infected person and are already being used by professional sports teams, hospitals, and many other businesses to screen employees and guests." Well, this is fantastic. And it's an exit strategy. We have nothing but dog people listening to this show. We need to immediately start training, certifying.
Well, that brings up the
question. We have a distributed dog sniffing protection system. We can rent everybody's dog out.
This brings it to the fore, which is, how do you train a dog to do this?
Well, we'll get the deets.
You just don't tell the dog, "Hey, dog," while you're sniffing around, which you seem to be doing all day. It's all you do. When you spot a COVID person, can you let us know?
Let's see. We'll be working. Who is this? Oh, this is NASCAR. We'll be working with the 360 K9 Group, a provider of specialized detection dogs that serves industries ranging from the federal government, sports teams, cruise lines, hospital, and other large venues. So this is already rolling out, but it's not being talked about. They've worked with the USDA since 2013 to detect viruses in plants with great operational success. So I guess you just take an infected swab oozing with the COVID, and you say, "Here, Fido, sniffy." Their newest company, Biodetection K9. Oh, that's a TV series.
There goes your exit strategy. These people, they got the name.
Biodetection K9. Oh man, yeah. Oh, shoot.
So this has got to be one of those deals that we've actually talked about this probably 5 or 6 years ago on the show. The people, the dog guys, the guys who go around to drug detecting dogs and bomb detecting dogs and these sorts of dogs.
Yeah.
And they go to like a car. They have these dogs at the ferry terminals in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in line outside in a kind of like a large parking lot, cars lined up to go on the ferry. And there's these dogs that come out and they're sniffing around. And every so often one of them just sits. They sit by usually the left front tire of the car. They just sit, stop sniffing. They sit. That means the car's got to be examined. And we just did a story about how some of these dog trainers, especially the drug dog trainers and some of these other ones, they have a signal they give to the dog.
Yeah,
Just fake it.
Fake it. Do it now. Yeah, I had that at the border check one time. The dog's like, drugs. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's okay.
I wonder if
you know what? I'd rather be picked out of a crowd because someone hates me than subject to stupid test. And we can read this two ways. Either this is great news, or look how bad the PCR test does. Dogs can do the business. I mean,
we know the PCR test sucks. In fact, I want to point out to somebody that because I was traveling around the world during the SARS, which is just a variation of this virus. That was SARS-CoV-1.
Yeah.
And they had all the airports were equipped with these giant thermal sensors. So when you landed in Vancouver or someplace like that, there was a guy standing there, and they had these screens. I actually snuck around and looked at how they operated, and they worked pretty well. So when you were walking in to go through customs or passport control, they had you were monitored by these thermal imaging cameras, and if your temperature was off a little bit,
right,
they'd pull you aside. They didn't do any PCR tests or any of these other worries, and it's the same basic virus. They've just dreamed up, and I've bitched about this in the newsletter a couple newsletters ago. They dreamed up this typhoid Mary theory. Unlike apparently all the other SARS-1 and the rest of them, there's MERS. This one you can wander around like an idiot with it and cough, or don't cough because you have to not cough to be asymptomatic. You have no coughs. You're just breathing, and you're passing it on to everybody. This is nonsense.
Yeah. Got a note from Sir Dude named Jim regarding cleaning out your nose before a test. He said it reminded him of something. He'd been researching why the spread of COVID is so low in Japan, and he came across information about the Japanese obsession of gargling to prevent colds and flu, which I did not know. One thing led to another. Maybe Sir Mark or Dame Ashford could inform us.
We used to do that.
We used to do neti pot stuff, but for the flu?
No, I mean, in the United States, gargling was effective.
Listerine. That's right. The old Listerine.
Lots of gargling.
One thing led to another, and I found this medication that's been researched and proven effective in several studies for helping to prevent infection with the Rona. It's essentially betadine that is formulated for the mouth or nose. They make a spray for your mouth and swabs for the nose. I got some of it, tried it out, didn't have any sort of bad reaction or anything. I think it might be a worthwhile precaution to use while traveling. Also,
well, I would say, hey, the NCAA teams out there that are all in lockdown, this is the thing to do because you get one player that tests positive and you're out of the tournament.
Halidine. Halidine.com is where you can find out more.
Send it to, if anyone has a favorite team, get a hold of the coach and tell them about this.
Halidine. Yeah. Yeah. It's, the more you learn here on the No Agenda Show. Gotta love it.
We're just we're like a plethora.
Meanwhile,
valuable information.
There are,
Halidine.com, was it?
Halidine, yes. Halodine. There are, on March 20th, which is what, Saturday, there are global freedom rallies scheduled. I mean, in every state, in every country, all around the world. This is very organized. You haven't heard about it, of course, because guess what's now been scheduled for March 20th? Anti-Racist Day protests from the UN. It's Anti-Racist Day, everybody. Let's get out there. Yeah, Anti-Racist Day. It's crazy. In the Netherlands, they've been beating old people. In the UK, a woman was
beating old people for being racists.
Just for being outside.
For being you old fart. You got to be beaten because you're a racist.
But John, they have something called, they have undercover cops. And these have a name, the Romeos, which is an acronym for something. But the Romeo is an undercover cop. And these guys, it's like secret police. And they're coming out.
People?
Yeah, throwing them on the ground, handcuffing them, the knee to the back, pushing their head into the ground. In the UK, there was a vigil. We didn't even talk about it last show, for a woman who was abducted and kidnapped and killed, I think by a cop, actually. Some weird sex obsession. And there was a vigil. They were beating people because it was an illegal assembly, because they said, no, you can't have a peaceful vigil here. Beating people. It's crazy.
Yeah, these globalists.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's I think we also promised a year ago. I might have even made the joke, maybe just a couple of weeks into it, saying, people can be so fed up in a couple of weeks. They can be like, give me the vaccine, Bill Gates. Well, now we've ratcheted it up. Now is the vaccine push, and it is disgusting. Disgusting. But they've politicized it. And when I say they, I'm talking about the media. But let's start over in the UK just so we can get a measured message from Auntie, the BBC. They have a little promo. What happens if you don't get the COVID vaccine? Well, let's find out.
Your friends, family, colleagues, classmates, and anyone else you come into contact with, even strangers, could be put in danger if you turn down the vaccine. It's not just a decision that affects you. It's okay to have questions about the COVID vaccine. That's normal. It's good to talk about them, though, with your doctor or community leaders or even friends and family you trust who have received the vaccine already. Vaccines have been tested rigorously and they've been found to be safe and to prevent people from developing symptoms and getting seriously ill with COVID-19. But now we're starting to see research which suggests a vaccine can prevent people from spreading the virus too.
You're vaccinated and your friends and colleagues are vaccinated. That will substantially reduce the risk for everybody.
That makes sense. If you're not coughing or sneezing, then it's harder to pass the virus on. If we spread less COVID-19, fewer people get sick and the pandemic will be over sooner. So the current thinking is if you choose to get the vaccine, you're choosing to look after yourself and everyone you come into contact with. If you don't, then you and those people won't have that protection. The scientists say they need to gather more data on this issue.
Yes, more
before we can be certain that vaccines reduce transmission.
We need more science.
Even if it turns out to be true, if too many people don't get their shot, then that makes it easier for the virus to find a way to spread, meaning more people will get ill and die. And if it turns out the vaccine doesn't stop you from spreading the virus, then it's even more important that everyone gets their shots.
So if it
there is
doesn't
only
work,
one victor in a world with a vaccine haves and vaccine have-nots. The virus itself.
Ooh. So,
I have a bunch of clips from Biden on Good Morning America. Mm-hmm. And I knew I'd probably have to play this one out of order, which is, and this is only a part of his 34-second part of they're talking about the vaccines. And this is the pitch that Biden has, and this is a GMA Biden Patriot COVID.
I'm an American, my freedom to not do it. Well, why don't you be a patriot? Protect other people.
How about emphasizing the positive? How has life changed for you since you got the vaccine?
I can hug my grandkids now. They come over to the house. I can see them. I'm able to be with them. I've had the vaccine. And secondly, it has changed my life in the sense that I've been able to demonstrate to other people that I doubt whether people would expect me to take it, but I think it was safe, to make the case that it is safe to take the vaccine. It's important to take the vaccine.
Yeah. You're a patriot.
Yeah, patriot. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, I got to play some stuff out of order, too, because the main narrative this past week on the United States television stations was completely politicized. And so I think the term patriot is taken on purpose as perhaps a hands across the border or a fig leaf towards the obvious anti-vaxxers known as the Republican Party. Which is, here we go. This is CBS Evening News.
Another priority for the White House, making sure Americans get vaccinated. While a majority plan to when it becomes available, nearly a third of Republicans say they won't.
Should President Trump help promote the vaccine among skeptics, sir?
The thing that has more impact than anything Trump would say to the MAGA folks is what the local doctor, what the local preachers, what the local people in the community say.
So they're pushing this, and here's how it got picked up. Of course, Fauci had to launch it on Meet the Press.
For instance, among Trump voters, 47% have said that they will not be vaccinated. 30% say yes. Among Biden voters, 58-10. Among Republican men, half of Republican men say they're not going to take this vaccine. You have the PSA with all the former presidents except one, President Trump, in there. Do you think he needs to be enlisted here at all to get his voters to take this vaccine?
Chuck, I hope he does, because the numbers that you gave are so disturbing, how such a large proportion of a certain group of people would not want to get vaccinated merely because of political consideration. It makes absolutely no sense. And I've been saying that for so long. We've got to dissociate political persuasion from what's common sense, no-brainer public health things. The history of vaccinology has rescued us from smallpox, from polio, from measles, from all of the other diseases. What is the problem here? This is a vaccine that is going to be life-saving for millions of people. How some groups would not want to do it for reasons that I just don't understand. I mean, I just can't comprehend what the reason for that is when you have a vaccine that's 94 to 95% effective, and it is very safe. I just don't get it.
Yeah, just a quick...
It's not FDA approved. By the way, when he talked about, he had a couple things to say in there I want to comment on. One, I was talking to, just coincidentally, Edwin Black, as we promoted his book.
Oh, from the IBM and the Jews?
The IBM and the Holocaust.
Uh-huh.
And so he calls me to chat, and he mentioned to me just in passing that he had done a presentation at one of the colleges about the history of vaccination. And as Fauci goes on about how great it is. And he mentioned to me that the history of vaccination involved a lot of murders of people that were promoting vaccinations. And it was... Most of the cartoonists had cartooned the Grim Reaper as the vaccinator. Because vaccinations in its early days were just killing people left and right.
Holy
shit. This is probably, I'm going to have to talk to him again about this. Have him, he's going to have to produce a paper.
No, he has a book about this, you said? He wrote a book?
No, it was a presentation. This guy's incredibly productive as a researcher, and
oh my goodness, we need to get that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Well, let's just talk about efficacy for a moment, because new information has come in. Peer-reviewed study, and it has consequences in the numbers that Fauci is talking about. Informed consent disclosure to vaccine trial subjects of risk of COVID-19 vaccines. Results of the peer-reviewed medical study, COVID-19 vaccines designed to elicit neutralizing antibodies may sensitize vaccine recipients to more severe disease than if they were not vaccinated. In other words, next time the common cold comes around, chances you're going to get greater and more severe disease if you're vaccinated compared to those who don't. In fact, and this is the British Medical Journal published this. In the FDA guidelines, it says the agency has to provide an absolute risk reduction for a product, not just a relative risk reduction. Relative risk reduction is relative to the disease COVID, which may very well be 95%. But if you take into the account the damage some people and the amount of people who have received damage from the vaccine, and this is not this is not specific to this vaccine, but could be vaccines in general. When you look at that number, the absolute risk, as in the risk of you getting hurt versus the risk of getting COVID, is 1%. So efficacy.
Well, that's higher than the
efficacy.
COVID problem.
Well, no, it's taking the COVID problem.
No, I'm saying that 1% is high number.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's the relative risk reduction. So you go from
the
90.
Relative risk reduction is only 1%.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't. Here, unreported absolute risk reduction measures of 0.7% and 1.1% for the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna vaccines, respectively, are very much lower than the reported relative risk reduction measures.
So it doesn't do anything.
Well, 1%. Well,
1%.
90,
I mean, if I,
you have a 99
chocolate bar in the morning, probably does better than that.
Could be. Anyway, everyone's acting like the Republicans don't want the vaccine. Republicans are anti-vaxxers. A certain group of people. Why wouldn't you want to take this despite those numbers you just heard? And Trump won't do anything about it, or did he? CBS doesn't watch ABC.
Former President Trump is joining the push to get more Americans vaccinated. On Fox News, Trump was asked if he would recommend getting a shot.
I would recommend it, and I would recommend it to a lot of people that don't want to get it, and a lot of those people voted for me, frankly. But, again, we have our freedoms, and we have to live by that, and I agree with that also. But it's a great vaccine, it's a safe vaccine, and it's something that works.
A recent poll found nearly half of Republicans say they haven't gotten a vaccine and don't plan to get one.
That's all you need, a recent poll, and then you get stories like this on CBS.
We are seeing the trend line in willingness to get the vaccine going up. It's been going up over recent months and weeks. So you've got a majority now saying if they haven't gotten it already, that yes, they will get it. But there are still some who are hesitant, some on the fence with maybe, and some outright no. And one of the key things we're seeing here, Margaret, is that is related to partisanship. You've got Democrats saying that they'll get it. You've got most independents.
When they say the media is making this a political issue, the media is doing it, and they're going to turn around and say, "You asswipe, it's not political, you know."
Yes, that's exactly what they did. They say it's not political, and they're the one politicizing it. And one of the mechanisms they're using here is that the dumb Republicans, who probably maybe actually are doctors or did the research, but that's beside the point. Because you promote the dumb Republicans aren't taking it. You're not a Republican, are you, Mr. Black Man on the street? You're not a Republican, are you, Mr. Latinx? You're not a Republican, are you, white lady from the suburbs?
That's exactly.
No, I'm not a Republican. Well, then why aren't you taking the vaccine?
Exactly.
Only the stupid Republicans aren't taking it.
And it's only one leap from Republican to not taking the vaccine makes you racist. Guaranteed. Red book right now. Put it in. It's happening. I'm going to write it down.
You better write it down, yeah. I think you're right, though.
Vaccine denial is racism. Yeah, because you don't care about black and brown people.
It's also leverage, by the way. This is also a lot of leverage to make sure the black community takes the vaccine.
Yeah, how's that working out?
Well, hold on. They never mentioned that, by the way, in these reports.
Let me finish
half of the Republican males won't take it. They won't say one thing about the black community.
No.
You've got Democrats saying that they'll get it. You've got most independents, but there is more reluctance relatively among Republicans, and in particular, younger Republicans under 65. So as they become eligible to get the vaccine, we're really going to have to watch whether they change their minds on it. We ask them why they're still hesitant. They say, well, it's still untested. Well, they're worried about the side effects.
It is.
Some don't trust the government or don't trust the science on it.
This is it.
They don't trust the science. The science doesn't. Well, you just read part of the science.
Oh no! Shut up, you with your science. You're not doing it right. Yeah, this is the manipulation. Then comes the intimidation. Then the domination, and it's going to the young kids. We got to go after the young Republicans. You know, the guy in Denmark had the right idea. He killed all the kids from the opposite party he didn't like.
We are seeing the trend line in willingness to get the vaccine going up. It's been going up over recent months and weeks. So you've got a majority now saying if they haven't gotten it already, that yes, they will get it. But there are still some who are hesitant, some on the fence with maybe, and some outright no. And one of the key things we're seeing here, Margaret, is that is related to partisanship. You've got Democrats saying that they'll get it. You've got most independents, but there is that more reluctance relatively among Republicans, and in particular, younger Republicans under 65.
Wait,
so as they
did I just double that clip? I'm sorry. Somehow that doubled.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, forget about it. Let's go to the promotion part, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to Blue Cross Blue Shield, all part of the big setup, the big money-making scheme. They're advertising on radio.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan wants to remind you how important it is to get a COVID vaccine when you are eligible. These vaccines are safe and authorized by the FDA. So when it's time,
Hold
make
on,
sure
stop.
to get your...
Are these the giant speakers that are outside the city beaming this information in through loudspeakers?
This is one of our producers.
Attention, public.
This is one of our producers.
Attention, public. Attention, public. Take the vaccine immediately. You are all ordered to take the vaccine immediately.
He recorded it in the car.
These vaccines are safe and authorized by the FDA.
Sounds like the big speaker.
But listen, I love this. These vaccines are safe and authorized by the FDA. Emergency use authorization. Well, they are authorized, but under emergency use authorization.
That's misleading the way they state it.
I did look it up based upon our discussion, our thread with the producer.
Yeah.
About the emergency use authorization. Indeed, it can only be evoked by the FDA if there is no approved treatment.
There's no approved treatment.
Approved. So
yeah, that's the key word.
Yeah. So if you don't have an approved treatment, which could be ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamin D, anything that actually works, which is why they fought so hard against it, because they can't have the emergency use authorization if something out there works. That's the whole reason behind it. Trump was handy for it. He was handy.
Once he said it, because they're just going to push back on anything Trump said. And once he mentioned hydroxychloroquine, which is probably why Africa really doesn't have many cases, because they use that for anti-malarial just by coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up with pushing back on Trump, and then you got that out of the way. And then the ivermectin thing came up later. There's a bunch of doctors that came up with that, and they got all kicked off of YouTube.
You had the guy pleading in the Senate saying, please reevaluate what you're doing here. Ivermectin works. Burke's, by coincidence, Burke's...
Good buddy.
No, she became I fell out of love with her very quickly. And I'm very happy that her face looks all haggard now. Because women hate that. So I'm happy for her. She deserves that.
You're dead.
No, that's low. I know it's low, but I mean it. She's a very disappointing lady. She was on ABC and, long profile piece because, now that schools can be reopened with new filtration systems, now that we have the COVID bill signed into law so that the schools can get money for these systems. She's now working at one of these companies that provides these systems and is on the board of a big venture capital fund that has funded the company. So she's a total government a-hole shill. I hate it when they do this. It's corrupt. It's disgusting.
It's completely corrupt.
So she reminisced for a moment about the moment when Trump said you should drink bleach.
How do you think about your role in that? And how do you think it impacted the American people and their confidence in the science that we need to solve so many problems?
Well, thank you. And please know that science does evolve as it did during this pandemic. So we know a lot more now than I knew 14 months ago. That moment, obviously, there's a lot of tape on that. You can see how extraordinarily uncomfortable I was. Unfortunately, he was not speaking to me. He was speaking to the DHS scientists who had presented the data. And then when he did turn to me, I said, not a treatment. I have spent almost 30 years in the military. I worked for every president from Jimmy Carter up and through President Bush in the military, serving them as commanders in chief. Frankly, I didn't know how to handle that episode. I still think about it every day. When I was spoken to, I said not a treatment. But I don't know. I guess some people thought I should run up on stage and interrupt this dialogue that was going on between the DHS scientist and the president. But I was just not trained in my years of training to react that way. I think maybe if someone didn't have the military training that I had, maybe they would have reacted differently.
So because she's a military trained person, she didn't know how to respond. This is good.
It's something Dr. Fauci and I talked about all the time.
Oh, yes,
is
that
how
horrible
to correct
orange
the
man.
record. And of course, CDC and all of us went out and said this was not a treatment. This was really meant to
wait for it.
What could happen at a playground in the sunlight to the virus on the playground, itself.
So what was obfuscated because of the bullshit M5M about the president saying, go drink bleach, which he didn't, some actual information about UV light and playgrounds was covered up that could have at least opened playgrounds. That's how crazy
that's your
this
vitamin
is.
D connection.
That's how crazy this is. Yes, exactly. Now, if you want subtlety, don't go to CNN. If you want funny clips, go to CNN. This is Dr. Leana Wen, and she is medical correspondent for CNN, and she has her marching orders from the CDC. The CDC said, site, go do it and propagate the formula.
My main concern is that we're not going to reach herd immunity because of vaccine hesitancy. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to believe who desperately want the vaccine right now. And they're thinking, oh, well, it's just a small percentage of people who are actually anti-vaxxers. And that's true. There is the anti-science, anti-vaxxer contingent. But I think that there are many more people, millions of people who, for whatever reason, have concerns about the vaccine, who just don't know what's in it for them. And we need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic life. And the window to do that is really narrowing. I mean, you were mentioning, Chris, about how all these states are reopening. They're reopening at 100%. And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway. And I fear a situation of coming into the fall where we never reach herd immunity. And then we get hit by the next surge of COVID-19 in the fall, something that we could have prevented if we just got people vaccinated now.
In some countries, secret intelligence is used to control their people. In ours, it only exists to protect their freedoms.
There you go.
Protect their freedoms.
You can only enjoy your freedoms if you take the vaccine. You can't have your freedom unless you take the vaccine. What carrot could we possibly use, she asks. That is diabolical.
It's worse than diabolical. It's sick.
It is. It really, 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 it's just sick. That's pretty much the only thing you can say. So you might have seen this, and this is a callback to 2008 of this very show when we first, no, it's later than that, 2010, 2011, I'm sorry. When we first started talking about the big vaccine conference, the financial conference, and everybody was talking about the numbers and how great this was. It was Goldman Sachs, I think it was. Everyone was talking about how great the numbers were, and we can't believe we're going to be giving people medication without them being sick. This is a bonanza. We'll have vaccines against cocaine addiction and cigarette smoking and farting and all kinds of stuff. And we saw those. We saw those vaccines talked about. Some were manufactured. None of them, as far as I know, got any approval from the FDA. Because they didn't really have the market demand because people like smoking. You know, they don't want to take a shot, as it turns out. So, as we look forward to July 1st, when the vaccine manufacturers will have to get an FDA approval or go into a phase 4 trial to get the FDA approval, that's also when the U.S., certainly the U.S., subsidies end. And I think in most countries, we know that Pfizer specifically has asked poor countries, I believe it was Venezuela, for military bases as collateral. Yeah, we'll ship it to you. We don't trust you, so we need your military bases as collateral. That would be fun to own. So, of course, Pfizer is out there talking to analysts. This is Frank D'Amelio. He is the chief financial officer of Pfizer, and he's talking about the impact of the COVID vaccine on their quarterly results and moving forward. And would you know it, he's quite bullish.
And not as so we don't see this as a one-time event, but we see this as something that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Now, in terms of pricing, let me see if I can hit on that. So if you look at how current demand and current pricing is being driven, it's clearly not being driven by what I'll call normal market conditions, normal market forces. It's really been driven by kind of the pandemic state that we've been in and the needs of governments to really secure doses from the various vaccine suppliers. So what I believe is we move from a pandemic state, from a pandemic situation to an endemic situation. Normal market forces, normal market conditions will start to kick in, and factors like efficacy, booster ability, clinical utility will, basically become very important. And we view that as, quite frankly, a significant opportunity for our vaccine from a demand perspective, from a pricing perspective, given the clinical profile of our vaccine. So clearly, more to come here, but we think as this shifts from pandemic to endemic, we think there's an opportunity here for us.
Third shot and annual boosters when it's endemic. There's your future. It's just like
they see a lot of money in it.
Yeah, it's just like the flu shot, only you won't be able to have your freedom if you don't get it. That's what it is. Yeah.
Well, good luck pulling that one off.
Well, they're really going to try. They're really trying with the vaccine. By the way,
so far, they're winning.
Yes. In the show notes, I have the official CDC COVID-19 vaccination record card. It's a PDF. It's high quality, so you can print that out, and you can, if you could put it on the wall, or some people might want to fill it out. I mean, that's up to you. But it is it's the official preprint, the official print version.
Well, I wouldn't advise people counterfeiting documents.
I didn't say that. I didn't say counterfeit. I said fill it out.
I would just say that, and if you do fill it out, just to be on the safe side for you, just for your protection, make sure you take a look at somebody else's card that actually is filled out by a doctor so you can use the same format.
Yeah. Not trying to tell anyone to forge anything.
But I don't want to tell you to do that. I think just as a joke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's totally a gaffe.
Yeah. It's just something you do for fun.
Yeah. You can go, hey, look, I got a vaccine. I jumped the line. And people get all pissed off and say, ha ha, joke's on you. It's a forgery. That's a great gaffe. It's right up there with the whoopee.
Fantastic gag.
Right up there with the whoopee cushion. By the way, we provide this for entertainment purposes only.
Same thing.
All right, a little gaffe from Herr Fauci as he's talking about going after the kids, going to vaccinate the kids, kindergarten, 2 years old. We can shoot them kids up.
For high school students, it looks like they will be available to get vaccinated in the beginning of the fall, very likely for the fall term. With regard to children, we're doing an age de-escalation study.
Oh my God!
What is on his mind?
Why doing an AIDS? We're infecting the kids with AIDS. Why did you say that?
Why is he? Let's hear that again.
With regard to children, we're doing an age de-escalation study.
Damn, man. I know. AIDS. The guy is the AIDS guy. He didn't solve anything and killed a lot of people. Or I didn't say he killed them, but there's a lot of accusations. So is that just on his mind or is something really going on? Let's continue.
In elementary school children from 12 to 9, 9 to 6, 6 to 2, and 6 months to 2 years. We anticipate we'll have enough data to be able to vaccinate these younger children by the first quarter of 2022.
Yeah, well, there you go. You got plenty of time to move. They're going to keep the legend of Fauci alive. PBS, I think the South Florida station, they produce it, has a special on Anthony Fauci. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get a copy yet. It aired, one of these things that airs once in one market, then someone has to find it, and so I'm waiting for that. I have the promo here, which is worth listening to. It is titled Fauci, Virus Hunter.
It kills in a high percentage, and it kills quickly.
He is the man who's helped navigate America through several public health crises. He is the scientist who commands the attention of leaders around the world.
Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
All I hear, Dr. Fauci, is we can't do this, we can't do that. This is a very, very unusual virus that we can't even pretend that we know everything about it that we need to know.
He is the advisor who has helped 7 presidents fight humanity's most virulent enemies and drawn his fair share of critics. How did a young Brooklyn-born doctor take over over the world stage.
There are many things when you have outbreaks.
In an era of shouting,
It's the unknown.
he talked
It's the cataclysmic nature of it.
with language that people could understand.
To get information out because there is a lot of fear.
How did Anthony Fauci become one of the planet's most prominent infectious disease doctors?
Our patient, Nina Pham, is free of Ebola.
Join us now as we share the inside story of America's top pandemic expert, a savior to some, a polarizing and alarmist figure to others.
That's right. Coming to a theater near you, Fauci.
Well, that's good news by your basic theory.
Yes, because the boomerang always comes back and chops your head off when you abuse the media for your own promotion.
Yep. Exactly.
But that will not stop the Surgeon General from proposing a National Vaccine Day, which would be a one-time federal holiday to celebrate COVID-19 vaccinations. Yes, to move the needle on adoption, some public health advocates are promoting an unorthodox incentive, a one-time only federal holiday, National Vaccine Day, which might fall on the Friday of Labor Day weekend 2021. It would serve multiple purposes, filled with
you're already taking the day off.
Filled with live music, block parties, and other in-person events. It would be a mass celebration that commemorates the doctors, nurses, and other essential personnel who continue to work through the pandemic, and for groups that may still be reluctant to get their shot. The prospect of joining the festivities might help convince skeptics and holdouts to embrace inoculation beforehand. Yeah, so Vaccine Day will be the day you go get vaccinated. Not just off for work, you get the whole day off. Federal holiday. Federal holiday.
So I'm listening to one of the talk shows with kind of not a right-wing or left-wing talk channel, but kind of one of the old-fashioned neutral ones, or try to be neutral. They still lean left.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's a big vaccine promoter, but he mentions that and I'm telling this story because I don't like the idea of these amateurs giving these shots. It's just as simplistic as they are. His grandma was big. Oh, I got to get the vaccine. And she goes and gets the vaccine. She gets the shot. And then she gets a growth on her arm where the shot was given. That's the size, they claim, the size of a grapefruit.
Yes, I've heard
and
this.
just getting bigger by the day.
Mm-hmm.
So she's being brought into some of the big medical research facilities to figure out what was happening. What it turned out was she was so old lady, so thin, that the incompetent vaccinator stuck the needle and it apparently got right into her bone. And once the stuff was injected, it caused the bone to start doing something that created this huge swelling. And they still haven't been able to resolve this. Another
nasty.
Unreported
That's
little gem
nasty.
there. So when vaccination day, everyone goes gets vaccinated. How many people are going to be? How many amateurs are going to be given just shots left and right? Give me a
Well, they're
break.
also going to fly the flag at half staff on Vaccine Day for all the people who die.
Died waiting for the vaccine.
We had early dinner with a couple friends here, and they'd both gotten the vaccine. They both work for the city, one in Parks and Rec and one in water planning. And I was saddened by it because one half she was saying, I just wanted to be free. I just wanted to be free. So and she's very like alternative medicine, yoga. She's a yogi.
Wow, she's the last person you'd expect
exactly.
to take the vaccine.
But she's convinced that she'll be free because she's taken the vaccine. And, and these are our friends and we don't really discuss politics or anything that much. And I said, well, but there's still all these restrictions. And before I could say, because it doesn't work, the retort was, yeah, that's just now. That's just the beginning. Don't worry. It's all coming. I just feel bad. It's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. The restrictions will be forced by the people that you're not going to get levy or anything lightened from politicians. It's against their interest. They don't like giving up control. And speaking of such,
she's going to be free to do what?
Yeah, go
Let's start with
anywhere.
that premise.
Go anywhere. Not wear a mask at private parties. Hug people. The main thing was
a peer group.
The main thing was hugging. Yeah, it is a peer group thing. I know.
The mask is a peer group thing, so that's got nothing to do with whether you got the shot or not. Because nobody knows whether you got the shot, so put the mask on.
Now,
can't hurt.
My stepdaughter in Brooklyn, she was so excited because she got her vaccination and her stimulus check both on the same day. It doesn't get any better.
This is
this
is interesting. That our wide ranging influence, the two of us.
Yeah, we have lost several members.
Nobody cares what we have. to say.
One cares. Especially the
present
people,
all the evidence you want.
The people
that
closest.
Maybe...
Well, okay. Since we're on that, you and I may have a disagreement because I have been in television for all of my adult life. I go back to racking up 4-inch tape on the machine, videotape. I have edited videotape with a razor blade and iron filings.
You probably did.
Yeah, you've probably done the same. I have.
Well, there's one thing I haven't done. I've never done any work with 4-inch tape. And by the way, you haven't either. So continue with our disagreement.
Excuse me? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I sure have. What are you talking about? You just call me a liar?
Yeah.
Do you know the 4-inch tape I'm talking about? I'm not talking about the old BCNs. I'm talking about the old ones when I first started when I was 19
You're talking
in the
about
Netherlands.
videotape.
Videotape, yeah.
Yeah.
Why? What?
It's 2-inch.
No, that's the BCN. Before that, it was 4-inch. Believe me.
The Ampex tape was 2-inch.
4-inch videotape. Quadruplex videotape. Goodbye.
Quadruplex videotape is 2-inch.
Let me see. I am so sure it was 4-inch. 2 inches BNC or BCN.
That quadruplex tape was 2 inches. That's stuff they use on the Ampex. There was never a 4-inch tape. It's too big.
Well, then I'm wrong. I stand corrected. But what was the BCN then? The BCN was 2-inch. What was the big tape?
The big tape was 2-inch. 2 inches is a big tape.
And what came?
Because most tape is a 1/4-inch.
Now that's okay.
The original tape was 2 inches. The big giant Ampex stuff that had the heads that spun around and vertically on the tape.
Yeah, you know what would have been nicer of you to say is instead of "you haven't done that" and make me drag it out of you what the mistake was, you could say I think it was 2 inches.
I told you what it was. I said there's no such thing as a 4-inch tape.
After you said I'd never done that. You understand the difference?
Well, okay. You're right. I was snide.
Yes.
But since you brought it up, you made it a competition, and I lost. You made me do that,
okay. Yes, I made you explain what the hell you were talking about. All right, here we go. The Biden green screen hoax was not a green screen hoax.
I don't care.
A lot of people do. This is unbelievable. My wife. No, that's green screen. I said, look, I've been, and of course I incorrectly said 4-inch tape. She didn't have the wherewithal to correct me. But I said, I've done green screen when it was blue screen. That's not green screen. That's some anomaly. It's a lens distortion. And I even found the guy from Voice of America, which is questionable, of course, who was holding that boom. And he said, absolutely, that happened there. And there's a side shot where you can see a whole different scenario. But I could not convince anyone who saw this video. They would not listen. So that was my point. Well, I think you're making a huge mistake in the way you approached it, as I did when I told you that you were foolish to talk about 4-inch tape. Okay, all right.
But the thing was, I think people want to believe that Biden is an invalid and he has to be on green screen, and it may even be a robot because he's wearing a mask. Could it be a stand-in, which is By the way, the stand-in possibility.
I mean, if someone had said that to me, like, that guy isn't Joe Biden, or look, he's dead, they've just got robotics in him, that would be more believable to me. And that's the thing that's funny. It's like everyone's bitching about this green screen. I don't understand why you were so defensive about it. Just who cares? Okay, well, maybe it was not a green screen, blue screen. It should, by the way, the correct term is chroma key. Yes, absolutely.
It's not blue screen or green screen. It could be anything, and especially nowadays. And I don't know how a green screen would work, though, like green anyway, that's involved. I don't know. I did know one thing. If I was going to take that argument and make a big deal out of it, I would have said the following. Did you notice that when they pulled the camera back and then they had the back of some guy's jacket, so it covered the screen in all black, that's when they transitioned to the other shot to make it look as though it was a continuation shot, which was what they did in the movie 1917. If you ever watched that,
I did.
It was the movie 1917 was supposedly one shot, single shot, the whole movie.
No,
but if you watch it with that in mind, you will see moments where somebody walks in front of the camera and completely blanks out the screen.
Yeah.
That's when they cut and go to another shot. So it's bull crap. So I would have made that argument. But then again, I thought about this. If there's going to be green screen, it's going to be a lot of it. It's going to be coming at you faster and faster.
I guess what you said earlier was really the point is... It's like you want this to be fake so bad that you just summarily dismiss someone who might know something about it. We do that all the time, too. But in this case, I do know flying, I do know television, I know radio. Those are kind of my things. I have some expertise. I'm just surprised. And people will argue incessantly. I'm like,
they love it.
Wow.
They really want this to be green screen. They want a robotic Biden.
Yeah.
The whole thing. And I will tell you this, and I'm sure that you watched part of it. I do have a bunch of the GMA clips. This was the most edited thing I've ever seen in my life. And I don't have quite the attunation that you have. You're totally attuned to these clips that are edited too much.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons when I do edits, I'm very careful to fool you. But this Biden
the listening audience be damned, as long as you're fooling only me.
I only care about fooling you. And then, but I really care about is getting the occasional compliment, which is that, wow, that is a great edit.
Yeah.
Which is because you probably do some of the finest I don't even know how to explain it, but after the show when we have to sometimes edit something, and
like a mistake or a pickup or something like that. Yeah.
Something, or they said we lost a connection and he has to pick. He does this very fine-tuned. He's got a nice tool, though. I don't have this tool.
Hindenburg Journalist Pro. Yeah, I like it a lot.
And so he uses this tool, and he can clip out so you have somebody talking over each other, and you have just a little noise, and he can nick that out just barely.
I'm pretty
interesting.
Total ant bugger. I need to go all the way in. But actually, most of my clips, I would say...
That's, by the way... Yeah, okay, go on.
80% of the clips I make, after it's recorded and it's playing back and I'm looking at the waveform, I'll see a pause and I'll do in, out, X. So that's in point, cut. I cut out silences just to speed up the show.
I do that constantly.
Yeah. I mean, but it's now second nature to me. I'm talking to someone, I'm like, in, out, X.
No, most of the clips that we do, both of us, the silences are, especially the worst offenders are the Senate and House committees. Oh. They cannot just ask. They're just silences. Yeah. Half of the 5 minutes, we'll give you 5 minutes. I would say of the 5 minutes, one whole minute is long pregnant pauses.
Right.
Minimum.
Right. Now, I enjoy a totally pregnant pause. When we're talking, I enjoy that.
If it's done right.
Yeah.
And it's done, doing it live, is one thing, but playing clips with a bunch of pauses in them.
No, it's deadening.
No,
it's
boring.
deadening. You got to move the show along. I want to get to Biden. I have one last clip, which I think is pertinent because we're just winding up everything with.
I may have one clip on COVID left too.
Wait, before I go there, let's just stay with TV just for a second because everyone's forgotten about it because no one saw it. The Grammy Awards this year.
Oh, I have a clip.
Oh, please, let's do the clip. I have stuff to say about this.
Okay, the Grammy Awards, I want to hear what you have to say about the Grammy Awards more than anything. But, so they made a big fuss. I heard it on all the different talk shows. Oh, Bill Burr, he insulted him. So I went back and I listened to the whole Bill Burr thing. And Bill Burr came out, insulted the piano player who was before him, and then all he did was read off award winners. The guy was more lame than usual. So I clipped the pertinent part of Bill Burr insulting. It's only 1.08 minutes, or 1 minute and 8 seconds. I'm sorry. It's 1 minute and 8 seconds and I'm thinking, what is the fuss? This is the best you can do. And this has got everybody in a tizzy. Just play this clip.
Thank you, Igor, for that sublime performance. I feel like I'm in a virtual heaven. And now, let's mingle and jingle with the stand-up comedian who taught us on Netflix that F is for family. He's nominated for his first Grammy this year in the Best Comedy Album category. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Bill Burr.
Bill?
Hey, thank you, Janae. How are you? Was I the only one who wanted to kill himself during that piano solo? I bought a suit for this. I thought I was going to be on TV. I'm such a moron. I am losing so much money right now. All right, shout out to all the rock stars that I wanted to meet tonight who are watching at home instead. I'm talking to you, Don Dawkin. All right? What, I'm old. That was my first concert. All right, here are the next categories. Up for bids.
No, the reason why, there's a couple of reasons. One, and I think he was placed there, he was a white guy. This was a black Grammy Awards. There were disproportionately more black artists nominated. And it got so crazy that when, what's the girl with the green hair? With her brother. Why is her name now evading me? Because she's going to be around for a long time. Billie Eilish.
Yeah, Eilish.
So Billie Eilish won Best Song or Best Record, and she was so embarrassed that she immediately said, no, Megan Thee Stallion, this is really yours. This belongs to you. I should not be up here. I should not have this. This is your award. You could tell it was because she was embarrassed by this. This show, now first I got to start in the beginning. The production on this show was the best I have seen in at least a decade. There was a lot of thought went into it. They took the situation and said, screw it, let's not do this dumb in an auditorium. We're going to have the musicians on set and watching each other play, and then, covering up some set changes by going to pre-produced packages, which were also dynamite. Bruno Mars did just some fantastic stuff. The edits, everything was, I'm sitting there with my mouth open like, wow, so much money went into this. And I think you and I would both agree, whenever you put on a television show, it's television specifically, a television show, so good, so kick-ass, everything came together. It was just beautiful. No one ever watched it. The ratings were down 55% over last year. So about
no life.
So about 2/3 of the way through, something happened. And it turned into a BLM, Black Lives Matter, F the police fest with Beyonce, and Beyonce clearly the Queen Beyonce saying, Megan Thee Stallion is my protege. At one point, there was a band that was performing on this really weird stage. And at the end, it goes all the way up, and it's the damn Illuminati, all-seeing eye. I mean, also coincidentally, the CBS logo. But I mean, this was what? It was unbelievable how this was put together as it just progressed towards the end to say, you know what? Pretty much, white people don't belong here. It was mind-boggling. Did you watch any of it? No, probably not.
I watched it through the Post Malone.
Right.
He was
also embarrassed. He was also embarrassed when he had to accept his award.
Yeah, I didn't see that part.
It was so.
But I just saw his satanic presentation with the skulls and all the red and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not going to watch this crap. And I just killed it. And I went back to get the Bill Burr stuff later because I wanted to see what the hell he did that was so offensive.
Yeah.
And he did say bid.
Yeah,
he used the word bid,
yeah.
which I thought was funny.
What I liked a lot, though, this year, they did the Dead segment differently. So normally you get one song, someone comes out, sings a tearjerker, you get the pictures rotating, boo-hoo. You know, you're sitting there at home like, really? Oh, that guy? I'll miss her. This year, they took like a good 10 minutes and played multiple songs at video bites. And, of course, that caused problems. You know, well, why did Eddie Van Halen only get his guitar featured empty on an empty stage? And Kenny Rogers had Lionel Richie sing a song. You know, it's that kind of stuff. But holy crap. Anyway, I think that's probably the last award show you'll see. They're dead. They're over. Nobody cares. There's no celebrity draw. It had nothing to do with an award show. It was just a damn good show. No one cares about it. They're not interested. They've turned to streaming during the lockdowns, and it's all your own doing. People are going away from cable news in droves, and they're all coming towards podcasting. That's what's happening. Yes, it is. It is. Now, a couple more things before we move on. One. Do you remember the president of Tanzania who was saying, hey, man, this COVID stuff this test is bull crap. He tested a kiwi and a goat or something. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, I know. He died the other day. Of heart. They had a tribute to him on PBS.
Heart illness.
Big point about it.
He was so inconvenient. No, we had to get rid of him. But in Ireland, this is my last clip. In Ireland, just like some inconvenient paperwork we heard about in Scandinavia, this is an Irish member of parliament, and he is discussing what is this out for? They have one of those boards, the ISAG, I think, which is the science advisory group who advises politicians on what to do. Well, he got some of their internal communications and decided to share that.
I want to raise the so-called zero COVID proposal today.
I should mention this is something to look out for. The zero COVID. This is it's kind of like zero emissions, and I think there's reasons for that. Yeah, there's reasons for that. So zero COVID is where we have to be, which means everything has to be zero. Otherwise, you can't get to zero. That's what Dr. Bill tells me. So, if you got the COVID, you have to go because you can't make it zero.
I want to raise the so-called zero COVID proposal today, for even this proposal for even harsher lockdown measures for the remainder of the year. A report was published recently of the international correspondence and workings of the so-called Independent Scientific Advisory Group, which has been pushing for zero COVID. And this group has many members, many of whom are virtually household names, such as the regularity of their appearances in the media. But their internal correspondence suggests that the group is not basing its positions on strict science, but in fact has been massaging the facts to try to entice politicians into adopting zero COVID. Just 4 weeks ago, the group head wrote to its members asking them to, and I quote, look for ways to increase insecurity, anxiety and uncertainty, and to, quote, go after people and not institutions because people hurt faster than institutions. He said that ridicule is man's most powerful weapon, and that the threat of a thing is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. In other words, people should be scared into accepting zero COVID. Now, this reads like something out of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Maybe it is something from Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. But the Social Democrats appear to have bought into these proposals. Their correspondence suggests that the group has been deliberately adjusting its targets for zero COVID in order to convince that party's leadership to subscribe to the strategy. And all of this is in the public domain, and yet incredibly it has not been reported by RTE or in the print media. So why is such a group allowed to scaremonger without at least being challenged on their internal conversations that we now know of, either by the politicians or the media? When a medical doctor advocates hurting people because people hurt faster than institutions, should that person's views be supported by Oireachtas members and reported uncritically in the media, I ask?
Well, we want to talk to you about that. We have a meeting scheduled in Tanzania. I mean, this is bad.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And he's right, by the way. I've been combing over the Alinsky material, and yeah, it's part of the ridicule is one of the things that he has on his Rules for Radicals.
Right.
Something we do on our show. We actually follow a number
we follow Alinsky very closely on this show, yes.
You might be surprised.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to think about how close we are to... We're projecting.
And the thing about Alinsky, which I've talked about before, and I'm going to probably do an essay for Substack on him, or at least on Rule 4, which is the real kicker that makes things work.
What's Rule 4?
I said Rule 4 is that to go after your enemy, you make them follow their own rules to the end. So if somebody says, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then you say, well, you're doing it. I mean, it's a very interesting rule.
It's whataboutism, basically.
Well, you go look up, you can do it real quick.
I'm going to wait for the Substack, and before you go any further, excellent Substack titled Understanding Homeschooling. I've put a link in the show notes under OTG where it belongs. Really good Substack you did on that.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Now, back to the Alinsky thing. We follow Alinsky on our show. We don't know that we do, but we do. And I think we've kind of internalized how we do it, but we do it. And the thing that I was going to say initially was that Alinsky's Rules for Radicals don't just apply to radicals. There's been people who have done books, using Alinsky for right wing, using Alinsky for this and that. Right. You don't have to use Alinsky for anything but whatever you want to use him for. He's pretty universal. He himself promotes himself as a promoter, or as a person whose rules work for the left. Mm-hmm. But the same exact rules with no changes work fine for the right. They work fine for the middle of the road. They work fine for anybody. They're fabulous, actually.
Well,
and I would recommend people look at the books. You don't have to buy the right-wing version. Just buy his book and read it.
I didn't expect to get into this right now, but it may be worth it. I got a note from Millennial Kate, the one in Chicago, if you recall. And this is regarding The Bachelor. Now, of course, you and I don't follow this. Oh, maybe you do. I don't know. But there was quite the to-do over... Well, what we know that the winner, pictures appeared of her attending an antebellum party. That's why the host had to go away, because he says, what's this woke shit? He hadn't even seen the pictures, but he had to apologize and go be a monk for a year or so before he can get back on TV. But what happened with this the final show? I will. Well, why don't we play? I'll play the little bit first. This was the guy, The Bachelor, a black guy for context. I think the girl, she may be more multi-culty. I don't even think she's white. I'm not. She looked a little like tinges of Asian to me. I don't know. This is the only clip I've ever seen of it, but. He broke up with her because of this, because clearly she's a racist, and this is now all coming out because the last episode aired, and it's like, oh my God, here's what happened.
I realized that must have been really hard for you as well, to where you must have been hurting, and I just wanted to say I'm really sorry for not understanding that initially.
So when I questioned our relationship, it was on the context of you not fully understanding my blackness and what it means to be a black man in America, and what it would mean for our kids when I saw those things that were floating around the internet. And it broke my heart, because this is the last conversation I thought we'd be having.
And here's what Millennial Kate says. So 10 minutes ago, she emailed me earlier this week, I was minding my own business, cooking dinner, and my roommate comes out to exclaim how she's, quote, so excited to see that girl get called out for being a racist on live TV. Racist! Followed by, this is great drama. And then Millennial Kate says it hit me. Not only does virtue signaling make people feel morally superior and so good about themselves, but it's also enjoyable drama. People are addicted to cancel culture for the drama. So it's not only giving them that sweet, sweet dopamine hit when they feel superior and right, but it's also great entertainment for 20-something-year-old women who have no lives outside of Instagram. Now, let's listen to a 20-year-old woman with her reaction.
Yeah, I think most people in America had figured out that Matt had picked...
I'm sorry, that was a bad joke, but I like it anyway.
Rachel, the young lady who was involved in this, because otherwise, why would they be, getting rid of Chris and jumping through the hoops that they were jumping through? I was surprised, though, that he actually broke up with her because of it, because he originally had defended her. But I think that was probably the realest thing that I've ever seen on The Bachelor. People who are in an interracial relationship and then having one side not understand. Now,
is this guy a total idiot? This whole thing was a scam.
Yeah, hold on. Let's let him finish. Answer yes.
I think had they been in a relationship for a longer period of time, right, where there was, the relationship had a bigger, longer, and better foundation, I think it may have been something that they might have been able to work out. But from a reality show and not really knowing each other that well, that's some tough stuff. And
tough stuff. Tough.
Look, it played out the way it played out. I'm not surprised that it did. And I'm sure it came as a shock to him and a shock to her. Here's what I will say, though. If you look at her apology, it appears that she is willing to do the work and that she understands what her actions
She understands.
did.
Bad girl.
If she is willing to do the work, we will see. And that will certainly make all of the difference. But so far in all of this, she has been the one who has apologized and has apologized in a way that seems sincere. And that goes a long way.
Oh, you've been blessed by Donna Lemon. There you go. You've been blessed. Move on.
This is a complete farce. This was staged, of course, because that's what The Bachelor is.
It's a reality show. Of course it's staged.
It's a phony baloney deal, and to be suckered at a news anchor level like Don Lemon just exposed himself. Well, in some ways.
More ways than one.
It shows what a moron he is. This is ridiculous, this whole scenario.
Yep. Thank you for...
It's good publicity for the show.
Hello.
Obviously.
What else? It broke before the final season. Hello. Television ratings down. What are we going to do? We want to get renewed. We don't want to have to do make goods. We want to do well. Of course. It's so... And he even adds a reality show. People being played. I
think our millennial producer in Chicago at least has a clue.
Yeah, she has more than a clue.
But I'm glad she sent that in, because it is funny that one of her friends...
No, several. She lives with a whole bunch of girls.
Several of her friends sucker. They take hook, line, and sinker by this bullshit. I'm sure they all got the vaccine the next day.
Final here, since we're just all over the map. Dictionary.com has changed yet something else in their entries. It's always interesting when this takes place because words do matter. Dictionary.com will stop using slave as a noun to describe people. Do you know why?
I'm all ears.
Because it's dehumanizing. Instead, they will use enslaved.
Oh, this began, remember we pointed this out on the show. People were using enslaved.
Yep. You're right. Did you have a clip of that? I think you might have had a clip.
It probably is. It's probably under enslaved.
Here it is.
Imagine being an enslaved cotton picker.
There you go. Enslaved. Amy driving the words.
She's driving words.
You know, it's only a matter of time.
Let me think. So if I say "shut up, slave," I'm demeaning someone. Of course I am.
Dehumanizing them, not demeaning.
I'm dehumanizing. What if you want to dehumanize somebody by calling him a stupid slave?
Well, you are not welcome. You are not welcome at dictionary.com if that's what you're thinking. No, you cannot do that.
So it's now against the rules to use dehumanizing speech when the intent is to dehumanize.
Well, if you're playing Scrabble, yeah, you lose. Slave is no longer, it can only be an enslaved. Toby, be good enslaved. It doesn't even work.
Shut up, enslaved.
We need to get rid of Roots. Roots is no longer progressive. Remember the movie Roots?
Roots
the book?
Has got to go.
Yeah, because, well, it should go definitely because it's trauma-based entertainment. That's coming from my friend. But, yeah, I mean, this whole idea of noodle gun.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
You want to do something else or you want to take a little break?
We got to take a break.
I thought so. With that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the COVID K9 unit, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls in the troll room. That's where they like to hang out. Trolls, I want to count you. Okay, stand still for just a moment if you don't mind. Hands up. Well, let's see what we got. 17, 18. It is a Thursday. So a little below the average, but
way below.
Yeah.
Well, the old average was 1,600, but we were hitting 18s.
Yeah, we were doing
the COVID crisis.
Yeah, the crisis. Yes.
But well, now the crisis.
Well, the variants may keep us going, John. You never know. The variants. Yeah. That's at noagendastream.com. Very cool place to hang out. Which is open 24 hours a day. You can go in there if it's a live show, and there are many. You can listen to it simultaneously on the stream and troll along. They troll every show. There's so many shows, including DH Unplugged. They're even trolling, except they're called Chat Room there. And if you want a longer thread of conversation, you should get yourself a Mastodon account. Sign up wherever you can. No Agenda. Social, noagendasocial.com. You can no longer register, but you can follow at John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com or at Adam at noagendasocial.com. And we'll be purging for old accounts, anything over 2 years, I would say the start of the month, and then we'll open it back up again so we can fill up our 10,000 limit. And I'm really happy. But there's a lot of, people are like, well, let's do a fundraiser for No Agenda Social so we can have more people registering. No, that's not the point. Can you imagine, John, if we have 100,000 people on noagendasocial.com and it goes down? Can you imagine what? Terrible. Because you know what that is. Your mailbox, your Twitter, everything is just flooded for days. Hey man, it's down. What's going on? It's down. Did you know it's down?
The first part, I see you coughing after doing that voice, but the first part of that voice is dynamite. But then
I lost it.
You don't carry it. Yeah,
no, I can't. Hey, man, do you know you're the socialist? I can't do it now. Now I'm conscious of it. But you can sign up at gitmo.life, and I've seen a couple other people who are taking this to heart and have started their own instances for themselves and for their families, and we're learning how to integrate the timelines. There's some tricks, possibly, so there's a little more, tricks, so there's more flow. But this is what decentralization is all about. You need to break it up into pieces so that there's not one weak link in the chain. And and it's not a money issue. Yeah, I'm sure that we could finance the money of it. Aaron won't take any money from us. He refuses because value for value. But that's not going to solve it. This is a forceful move. I'm mean. It's a forceful. What are you laughing about?
I'm sorry. That's got nothing to do with you or what you said. You keep going.
Well, now I want to know. What were you laughing about? You're watching porn. What are you doing? I'm here making a case, and what are you watching? What are you laughing at? Tell me.
Okay, here's what the next part of this. As you go on, and you'll continue with this spiel, and then you'll talk about the art. And so I had opened the art generator, and you'll see what I was laughing at when you do the same thing.
Okay, well, everyone who's playing along, and if you're on a Podcasting 2.0 app, you can see this appear now as that image pop. You mean Loteline? Is that the one you refer to?
No. Did you smell something?
That's the one by Loteline.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't notice the artist.
Very funny. That's a winner right there.
Someone's going to have to go a long way to beat that piece of art for today.
Might as well give up, boys.
Yeah, stop. Save your energy.
Save your energy. Well, let's thank Brad 1X for the album art for episode 1329. We titled that one Boba Liberals. And I got several emails from Asian American producers. Thanks for weighing in. Nice to have you guys here. I knew we had my Asians out there. And now I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
Before you continue, I want to publicly apologize for going along with this particular piece of art. I think it's offensive.
You fucker.
What?
You didn't mention any of this while we were selecting it.
I was kind of forced into accepting it. I now feel bad about it because this is making fun of the elderly, and it is. And Biden, wow. I already feel bad about doing these Biden clips on every Sunday in particular.
Just excuse me. There's the bus. Push again so I can get right under it. I want to be positioned.
Well, I don't know what it's got to do with you.
You make it look at you. Who else would force you into this? I didn't force you. We both agreed there was nothing better. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm just making it clear that I personally am publicly apologizing for this artwork.
Oh, okay. That you can apologize for it.
I just did.
But you weren't forced into anything.
Oh, that's what you say.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Oh.
What?
I'm going to start recording our after show sessions because, now it's like I need receipts.
Okay, I'm going to make a further apology. I apologize for... I somewhat promoted this piece because it was the best of the group, and I feel bad about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't feel bad at all. Not at all.
Okay, because you can live with the karmic consequences.
I understand, and by the way, I understand your apology. I can live with it because I am mocking the elderly abuse of Joe Biden. And I've been someone who has said that from day one. I said, this is elder abuse. I don't like it.
Yes, you have. And I agree.
So now I am this is meta. Anyway, this was the Walker Force 1, although it did not have the requested tennis balls on each of the four.
Which would make no sense on this.
No, it would not have made any sense. This was clearly a presidential model. Someone was telling me that it was just such a great piece of art. That I think I just slipped into the convenience of saying, yeah, it's damn good. I love the mask hanging off of it, the presidential seal and the little pad and just everything that, the football may be contained in there. So we appreciate what Brad 1X has done. And Brad 1X will get of course, receive the credit as the artist who brought us the artwork for episode 1329. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com is where you can see all of this. If you're using Podcasting 2.0 app, then you can see these images. This is catching on now. People are seeing it, art change on their watches, their smart watches.
That's kind of wild.
And we have
wild.
A brand new app coming in about a week's time. So hopefully on the Thursday show in a week, we'll have some cool news to announce.
I'm telling you, I keep looking at that piece. It's just too funny. Okay.
No Agenda Art Generator. Yes, indeed. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com, everybody. And thanks all. This is part of our value for value model. where the idea is you give back in some meaningful way, time, talent, or treasure. If it's treasure, make the number meaningful to you for whatever reason. It's all good with us. And we like to celebrate our executive producers and associate executive producers right off the bat. And here we go.
Yes, Michael Carlin's at the top of the list with $1,333.31.
Wow.
And it's a palindrome. He figured the palindrome out. Although he could have put it off to 3 shows and been a show.
Maybe he wanted to be the top guy here, top dog.
Well, he definitely is. We have actually 3 donations of similar amounts, which is fascinating. Please accept my palindrome contribution to the show, he writes, in the amount of 1333.31. I need a double D-douching as I have been a listener since Adam's appearance on Tom Leykis.
No. I've never been on Tom Leykis.
No, I'm the Tom Leykis guy.
Yeah, why does he say Adam's appearance on Tom Leykis?
Because you're now the only guy who gets out of his house. It seems.
You've been de-douched.
Now, I guess we can do a double de-douching for him since he requested it.
Well, for this kind of money, we'll give him 3 if you want.
No, I'm good with 2.
I no longer listen to Leykis, but I rarely miss No Agenda. The show has helped me understand the...
Maybe it meant Tom Woods. Maybe it meant Tom Woods. I was on the Tom Woods show.
No, he meant nobody just comes out with Leykis out of the blue.
Okay, true.
And I was on the Tom Leykis show a number of times.
A long time ago, though.
Yeah, it was before COVID. It was before Trump.
Yeah.
I did a show a couple of times over the phone during the Trump era, but Leykis is a huge Trump hater.
Oh.
And it was hard to work with.
So that was the end. He's hard to work with. All right.
I directed the documentaries. I directed the documentaries. I hope you're more accurate with your documentaries. American Federale about the Mexican cartels, larger than life. The Suge Knight story.
Suge Knight. He's the
Suge Knight. Yeah,
Suge Knight.
And I'm currently working on a film about the birth of the. This is okay. Hold on a second.
By the way, 2 old white guys going Suge Knight.
I know
it's pretty bad. Suge Knight, man. Suge Knight. We know he's you don't want to say. I'm happy to say something bad about a politician before I say something bad about Suge Knight.
Suge Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me finish.
Ticket. Yeah.
He's currently working on a film about the birth of the Crips and the Bloods. I wrote 2 books with former LAPD detective Russell Poole when he was the lead investigator on the murders of Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah.
Chaos Merchants and his final word on the murders. I was a journalist. He was working at the end of his life. I was working with at the end of his life. This week, the film City of Lies is being released. Johnny Depp plays Russell Poole.
Oh.
Chaos Merchants was the book we were writing when Russell's life was cut short at a meeting with the sheriff's department to reopen the cases based on our investigation. Russell died at sheriff's HQ in this meeting. I was told he suffered a heart attack and he had grabbed his chest. The coroner report listed the cause as a brain aneurysm. The family was told he never made it into the meeting and died in the waiting room. I was told by the sheriff himself that this at the conclusion of the meeting, Russell grabbed his chest and passed away. Needless to say, because of my reliance on the No Agenda show, I have been avoiding canoes, small aircraft, hot tubs, jacuzzis, and association with the Clintons. I would like to be known in this show as Sir Michael Douglas Carlin. I would appreciate an invite from someone to the No Agenda Social. I'm not hard to find. Get on the list for the
Are you kidding? I got one for him. I'll send him one. Of course.
Okay. I'm
Look
just
at
saying.
this guy.
If you're going to follow Rule 4 of the
I'll take a purge. I'll take a purged account.
Good.
Yeah.
At the knighting ceremony, please add vodka and vermouth. All the best, Michael. He's got a nice signature, by the way. I'm looking at his note. Michael Carlin. So he's another big shot. We had another Hollywood big shot.
So, so this is his movie, huh? City of Lies. Johnny Depp, holy crap. That's not, so he must have an IMDb page where his executive producer of the No Agenda show will pop up.
Yeah, and be careful, Michael. Do not ever become an associate executive producer.
No, not like some Hollywood
everyone
guys.
knows is
bad. Yeah, no, it's bad news.
Bad. Lake Michigan. Yeah. No, well, thank you. Do we have any? Jingles? Nothing.
Yeah, he wanted something there. I'm sure he did. I was just looking at his IMDb. Hold on a second. It's worth looking at. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's this Tupac movie. All right. Yeah, man.
Okay,
no agenda credit's going to look hot up there. Really good. He wants documentary filmmaking karma, and at the knighting ceremony, vodka and vermouth. You got it.
You've got karma.
Okay, this is at Blake, Michigan, which is his No Agenda social handle in Chicago. $1,330.
Please don't mention my name. It's not Blake, Michigan.
But my NAS handle is Blake, Michigan.
Yeah, I know.
Which is fine.
I know.
His name is something else.
I know. I'm just kidding.
He's just being mean.
No, I'm not.
Small window. So I'll have a small note for how, I really do feel bad about that Walker thing. Small window, so I'll have a small note for now. Okay. The window you can expand by cutting and pasting into it. John and Adam, don't hit the return key though. John and Adam, you have directly and positively affected the lives of so many. Thank you for your courage. Well, thank you for your contribution and the short note.
So I'm thinking you have some clip, something later in the show that you're setting me up for with this Walker bit. I don't trust it.
I wish I was that good.
Tammy McLean also jumped on the 1330, and we really appreciate that. I do not have a state for her, but she wants a whole bunch of jingles.
By the way, we're going to put all three of them, including our guy at the top, our producer, Mr. Michael.
Oh, absolutely.
In the 1330 Club.
Absolutely. Let's see. Where am I? Jingles, 33, the magic number. Sharpton respect. It's true. MTG, I call bullcrap. What was that? Who was MTG?
I don't know who MTG, but I know what I call bullcrap. That's the one.
Yeah, that's you. I have that one. I know that one.
No, I call bullcrap that woman. Here, this Congresswoman.
I call bullcrap.
Oh, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what it is.
Marjorie Taylor. That's not Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's not?
No, this is Bober, the woman from Colorado.
Oh, but believe me, people get it wrong all the time. Most frequently misspelled jingle, douche, de-douching.
Yeah, they can't spell douche.
Douche is a very, very...
This is a fact.
It's a very, very tough word for our people. My show club donation, 1330 knighthood in memory of my dad, 33. Has been taunting me for a very long time. This is the first show that includes the number 33 since my dad left us last fall, mostly due to effing cancer. If I could have convinced him to listen to podcasts at age 82, I know he would have been a big fan of the show. Please knight him, Sir Gerald, barber and farmer of Central Kansas. So, yes, posthumously, of course. I've been riding the coattails of the donations made by my incredible hubby, Dave of Cuba, Missouri, who introduced me to the show slowly over the years, more like tapping me on the shoulder than giving me a smack in the mouth. We also used to watch Twit, but in the last year and a half, I don't think I've missed a single show. You both have made a difference in me going from nearly fully woke to awake with my eyes wide open to the M5M. That's a good line. I went from fully woke to awake with your eyes wide open to the M5M. We frequently discuss the topics on the show. Hey, you know what? That's what we do with our families, too. So thank you both for your time and effort. Tamjos, there you go. P.S. I just barely made it into No Agenda Social. Well, you're lucky, Tammy. You are one of the fortunate ones. you
10,000.
Yeah, okay.
33, that's the magic number. It's the magic number. RESPICT.
That's true.
I call bullcrap.
Give her a karma.
You've got karma.
Now, So Mimi says to me, you're reading these notes, and by the time you're into the $200 donations, you're slurring.
That's true.
What do you mean that's true?
Sometimes what do you mean? Yeah, sometimes if it's a long donation, I mean, I notice it. I don't think, and Mimi notices it, but, we're your wives. It's like, so that's normal.
Phil Ballou in Louisville, Kentucky, 393.11 is next on the list.
Ah, I see. We're enunciating to prove that there's no problem.
Early Sunday morning, 3/14/21, in honor of my two oldest children's birthdays, 3/19 and 3/11. I hope they're on the list. I have been listening since the start of the pandemic when I went down some internet rabbit holes on a trip to the Caribbean. Incidentally, I found your website, and upon my return to the States, I heard Adam on Joe Rogan. I have been hooked ever since.
Rogan donation.
Perfect.
I truly appreciate the value you provide and hope to provide some value back to you.
Okay,
please find my PayPal donation.
I'd rather have you slurring at the end because we will never get to the end this way.
Please find my PayPal donation and de-douche me, okay?
You've been de-douched.
Bye, guys. Phil Ballou. Sir Cal of Lavender Blossoms is on board. 35813 from Northville, Michigan. Just got back from a short vacation in Cancun. We had to take a C-19 test before coming back. Nasal swab results within a couple of minutes. That's interesting. We asked how come they can't do that in Canada? We asked what happens if someone tests positive.
Oh, this is interesting.
And the quote was, "Sir, no one gets a positive result," she replied.
This is what the banker told us.
Really?
If you get the test. Yeah, remember he had...
right, because they cover... right.
They said, you need to get...
Turns out that the resort has to cover 50% of the cost.
Exactly.
So just send everyone back home. I now have a bunch of online orders waiting, lots of them from No Agenda folk. Thank you for all your patience and courage, Sir Cal. What's the name of his website again?
LavenderBlossoms.org. Sir Cal of Lavender Blossoms for all your best CBD products. In other states, there may be more.
Matthew Nagy is in another state. He's in Manchester, Michigan, $350. And he's not in another state, coincidentally. He's in the same state. In the morning to you, Adam C. and JCD. I love what you two are doing. You both you're like lightsabers of truth, cutting through the disinformation and bullshit of the M5M. Keep up the great work, Matt Nagy in Manchester. Okay, thank you for this short note.
Take
this long one.
Erica Callahan, 33333 from Sewickley, Pennsylvania. In the morning to you both. I've been listening to No Agenda for the last year after being hit in the mouth by C. Mike and his lovely wife, Dame Blackhammer, and their 18 children. It's time I return some... I made that up, but they have a lot. They got a lot of kids. It's time I return some value for value. I'm a nurse, anesthetist, and have worked in healthcare for 24 years. Your no-nonsense reporting, pay attention, your no-nonsense reporting of the COVID lie has kept me sane when I'm surrounded by Kool-Aid-lapping coworkers who have worked themselves into hysterics despite our workplace really disproving the M5M coverage. There's so much I could say about the Rona, but time and space does not permit. For the sake of brevity, I will say that you are both absolutely 100% spot on regarding COVID. The national average hospital bed occupancy at the height of things was only around 10%, as you reported. So there was never a curve to flatten. This was all about the Great Reset, not health, and I fear it's never going away. I've resigned myself to the fact that we are witnessing the death of common sense brought to you by the real pandemic, oversized amygdalas. Yes, this is a problem. Please give a birthday shout out to the girl who made me a mommy, my daughter, Grace Bond, who'll turn 14 this Saturday, March 20th.
Yay.
That's, by the way, it's Anti-Racism Day. And she loves to listen to No Agenda with me. Hey, Grace. Thank you for helping keep her amygdala in check. I've been telling her for years that her actions will be governed by reason and logic, not emotions, and No Agenda has been a source of validation for this old mom. Jingle request, China's asshole, followed by It's True, praying for you both, Erica Callahan in Pennsylvania. Thank you, Erica, and I'm sure you have a fine human resource.
China is asshole.
That's true.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So she mentions our reporting. So I'm like I'm not a beef, but I'm like in a back and forth with the FBI.
What?
Yeah.
You? With the FBI?
Yeah.
What? Like the real FBI for real? They're talking to you?
Yeah, the FBI in Washington, D.C.
They're talking to you?
Well, with form letters.
Okay.
That's beside the point. What I'm doing is I'm working on my skills to get FOIAs, Freedom of Information Act requests through.
Okay.
And they have determined that I'm not a journalist or a reporter or a part of any news organization, and I'm going to have to pay full dough because if you're a reporter, journalist, and part of a news organization, you get to do the FOIAs, and all you pay for are copying fees.
And what's the cost?
I'm learning the ropes here.
Yeah. What's the cost, full cost?
I don't know yet because I haven't gotten a bill because they haven't done a search. I mean, they've rejected all my requests. I'm not going to talk about that because they're going to be surprises when I get them.
It's going to be a Substack.
Yeah, I guess. And so, but this has really got me galled because I don't know what the charges are. They don't tell you any of this. They just have check boxes on these form letters and these check marks. And I've been determined to just be a civilian, and I have to pay full cloth, whatever it costs to do this work.
Right. Now, do you have a contact number, or only is this all email or written?
It's all mail, back and forth mail. Okay. No, I don't have a person to talk to.
All right. Well, I think
maybe we have somebody in the audience.
Well, maybe your next letter should start with, "Excuse me, don't you know who I am?"
Yeah. You have to request in a certain form-like letter anyway, so you can't do a lot of. There's not a lot of bending here.
Well,
but
I'm sure that you can get some letterhead or something that'll prove that you work for W small station near your town, because we have people who work there. They'll hook you up.
I'm sure that I can probably do something, but there's no reason why I can't in the position I'm in with my background shouldn't be accredited by the FBI to do these requests. I think this is maybe the dummy contract. I'm thinking.
Oh, that you just got to push through it and then they come through.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be what I'm dealing with here is a dummy contract. So
I didn't realize that.
Thought about it. By the way, that just came to me, so now I feel a lot better.
Okay, I didn't realize that you had to pay for FOIA if you're just a citizen. I mean,
oh yeah, and I'm absolutely convinced it's not cheap because they don't want every idiot, asking them for stuff. All right, onward. Sir Jackie's next on the list at $333.33. No jingles, no karma. Thank you, Jackie. A nice sweaty wad of value for ya. Keep doing what you do. We love it. Sir Jackie.
Sweaty value.
Sweaty value. Sir Craig Porter, the Ronin N7FSN73s, 317.21 in Carlsbad, California. Jingle request. Karma shot for John and Adam for doing an excellent job. Thank you for your courage. It was a great meeting all of the San Diego No Agenda community members, and looking forward to the next one, 73. Sir Craig, the Ronin in Carlsbad. I'm not in Portland anymore, but also hello to the Oregon Local 33 community.
Yeah, 73s to you, November 7th, Fox Sierra November, Kilo 5, Alpha Charlie Charlie.
James Foster in Belmont, North Carolina, 24949. He is the associate executive producer. And he says, ITM gents, I feel compelled to send you guys a chunk of my Super Bowl gambling winnings, especially after landing a new job this week after nearly 6 months of searching.
Good.
North Carolina. Interesting. Good bet, by the way.
Yeah.
I left my finance gig at large. Finance gig at a large social media advertising agency back at the end of September. The woke-tards at the agency just became too much for me. At one point last year, some of the children were calling for the agency to stop allowing clients to spend money advertising on any platform related to Fox.
There it is.
You know how advertisers make money? They do it by placing ads and getting a piece of that. So they would... What idiots.
Exactly.
They even questioned why we were doing business with Facebook, as they believe they may help manipulate the election again. Our CEO had a town hall meeting explaining that we could not dictate client spend and that canceling platforms would lead to people not having jobs. Pure insanity. Anyways, I wanted to call out Justin Houston for being a douchebag. No explanation. For jingles, can I get a Kellyanne Conway money shot? Good night, left nut. Fauci wheeze, and look at that juice, and Alex Jones, it's over.
Oh, yeah, sure.
A little bit too much, but okay. Much love, Rick.
That's a show enough money shot. Woo, Jesus. Woo, Lord. Look at that. That's a money shot. Kellyanne Conway and a money shot.
Good night, left nut.
Oh my gosh. Can you see that juice?
It's over. God.
You've got
That's actually
karma.
a good story.
Yeah, we all got the story, John. It's a good story.
It's a good story. Sir Andy of the Terrigal Beach in Ramborall, New South Wales, Australia. 333. Okay, this is he gets bumped up because this is
he does.
333. Aussie dollars toward damehood of my smoking hot girl, Kylie the Keeper, who turns 47 on Saturday. Can I get a race car reverend who thanks his smoking hot wife, please? All the best, Sir Andy.
Yeah, he's already in the exec category. So, I mean, you want to move him higher in the list? Is that what you're saying?
Was he up there?
Yeah, he's on executive producer 333.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the problem is in order because when we do it at the end.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. Okay. There's a problem that I can fix because I can do it in the mix. Boom.
Dennis Caffrey in West Hampton, New Jersey. Is that right? It's not West Hampton?
I don't know a West Hampton, so yeah.
Well, that's what it says. Yeah. 233.33. I first discovered No Agenda after John's appearance on Who Are These Podcasts?
There you go. Score.
Who Are These Podcasts donation? You two somehow make all of this toxic propaganda palatable. Much like a water treatment facility processing raw sewage into tap water.
Yes, that's us.
Generally speaking, that's not where you get your tap water, but...
Oh, it's okay. We'll take it. Compliment. It's a compliment.
It's always possible.
It's a compliment.
You two do a public service, albeit without the fluoride. Adam, this is the best sounding podcast I have ever heard.
Oh, thank you.
And I consider you a visionary of the truest sense of the word. Your enthusiasm is contagious, John. Your enthusiasm is contagious, Adam. John, you are one of the funniest people on the planet. Yeah. Douchebag call out, Jason and Andrew.
Douchebag. That's for Jason. It's for Andrew.
Douchebag. You were lucky enough to be hit in the mouth by myself, and it would only be wrong not to call them out. Okay. Jingles, bong hit. Obama, you might die.
Yeah.
Shut up, slave, and jobs karma.
All right. Let me get it ready there.
You might die.
Shut up, slave. Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I wonder how long we can play that you shut up slave clip before we're deplatformed.
We'll just have a new one made. Shut up, enslaved.
Shut up, enslaved.
By the way, we need it. Shut up, enslaved. Yeah, we need that. We might as well be PC.
Yeah. Sir Roderick of Flavortown in Charlotte, North Carolina, 222.69. Sir Roderick of Flavortown, which I never knew Charlotte was Flavortown, but he says it is.
Yeah.
222.69 triple twin flame donation in honor of Captain Fun Stuff with a 69 kicker just for fun as I make my way towards Barony. Yeesh. Just a quick note to thank you for keeping the sanity as always, and a tisk, tisk, tisk for all the douchebags out there who have listened to the show for a decade and haven't donated. V4V will only survive if we keep it alive. So unless you want nothing but M5M garbage in your future, donate. I'm looking at you, Ken Smith. Please throw a jobs karma to my see you next Tuesday soon-to-be ex-wife, Good Riddance.
Oh, man.
Please,
that's an oxymoron for karma.
Look at the juice. It's almost too delicious to believe.
Oh, my goodness.
Keep up the good work, you two. Signed, Sir Roderick. He's a realtor.
Yeah, realtor. Not realtor, realtor. I've been given a lesson in this. Realtor.
Oh, wait. You better give me the lesson.
If you are a member of the club, the club that is always trying to find out if you're a racist or not, then you're a realtor. If you pay and you're a member of the guild, whatever that's called. Otherwise, you are a real estate agent.
Oh yes, I knew this part. I thought you were going after my pronunciation.
No. Well, yeah, you did. You said realtor, and that's what I was told.
I said realtor, like you would say nuclear.
Yeah, but it's realtor.
It's realtor, not realtor.
Right.
Yeah, I'm never going to. That's a habit I don't care about, Bray. I don't care.
Neither do I, really.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Oh, my gosh. Can you see that juice?
It's almost too delicious to believe, my friend. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Kevin Reisinger in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. 20210.
Let me read this one.
Okay.
I've been listening for 10 years when I found the podcast from John on Twit. Yeah, we emptied that audience out, didn't we? Just wanted to donate because I turned 29 on the 18th, which is Thursday's show. And considering I ushered in my 20s with your deconstruction, I would be remiss if I didn't bring more value for value before it's all over. Now, technically, I haven't been a douche since then, if only for the fact that I donated via Bitcoin on March 7th, 2013. You guys were bashing Bitcoin, specifically Adam, who was using it, and I decided to donate 1.313 Bitcoin, worth $73 at the time, and send a few emails on how to track donations along with a birthday shout-out. By the way, that would have been worth about $75,000 today.
Yeah. It's always worth something today, but if we had kept it, say we got it, we would have probably sold it when it got to 400.
Of course. Of course.
But it's nice to project, JC claims that he's got 2 whole Bitcoins lost somewhere in an old hard disk. And I think Eric mentioned something about he lost a couple of Bitcoin. People lose these things.
Yeah. Now, all you need to do is write down your 12 or 24 phrases, and you don't need your hard drive. But, sadly. Anyway, I continue. And I send a few emails on how to track donations along with a birthday shout-out. To my surprise, in the next show, I listened to Adam denounce BTC transactions, and my donation and birthday shout-out went unnoticed. Maybe it was because I sent it to the email nafeedback@outlook.com. Which was mentioned in the show for missing emails or for the Bitcoin thing. Do you remember any about this? nafeedback@outlook.com?
Absolutely not.
That doesn't ring true to me. Anyways, it's not the value of the donation now that has weighed heavy on my heart all this time, the fact that I never got a birthday shout-out or a de-douching back then. Aw, I feel bad.
Poor Kevin. Poor Kevin. Oh, Kevin, we're sorry.
I am sorry.
I'm more sorry about this than I am about the disgusting cart, that push thing that Biden pushes around.
I feel bad. I feel bad about this one.
Yeah, I do too.
I really do. I don't feel good about that. And
you're on the list today, by the way, Kevin.
Yes, he's on the list for today. And I apologize. You were right. What did I know? And it took me 7 years before I figured it out. And I have, I'm a maximalist now. WTC7, Lil Fauci wheeze, no real conflict. You got it.
WTC7 won't go away.
There's no real conflict.
I'm going to throw in a goat karma because you deserve it.
You've got karma.
Last on the list is Sir Puck of Western North Carolina in Flat Rock. $200. He's in North Carolina, Flat Rock. I like. Imagine somebody. What are we going to name this town, Bill? I don't know. What do you? It was the first thing you see. Let's call it that. You know, that's what the Indians do when they name their kids. Oh, there's a Flat Rock. This puts me over 2K, he writes, and I'll trigger my favorite tune. Title changes and become Baronet Puck of Western North Carolina. Shout out to NAS, as my morning constitutionals are way more relaxing compared to my Twitter face bag days. It's like a party. And yes, I don't, getting in conversations in Twitter is stupid.
Uh-huh.
On a personal note, I've been listening since well before show 200, and I just want to thank you all, including all the folks in your lives that support you in doing this, like the shill. I recently got 100% off social media except LinkedIn, which is a piece of shit.
Which is worse. It's like, that's the horrible social media thing. LinkedIn, jeez.
Well, unless you're trying to get a job, but it doesn't work for that either.
Yeah, what happens, what neither you or I know, but the keeper does, there are a lot of dudes who stalk professional women on LinkedIn. It's quite annoying.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. I have a story to tell.
Do tell.
I have a fake woman. Beautiful. That is
every good
LinkedIn.
Story should start with "I have a fake woman." That's always a
fake woman. A fake woman, beautiful fake woman that's on LinkedIn, and I posted her up as a, with a good background. The whole thing is just as a honey trap to see what kind of douchebags would come onto her.
Oh, this is you. You are the fake woman.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetness.
Yeah, and I'm telling you.
Now I know what you did after you left Second Life. Now I know where all that energy went.
Second Life. So it's pretty embarrassing. I can see what she's talking about, and it's people I know. I've kept it to myself.
Really? People you know who have been hitting
well,
her
because
up?
I managed to link up with her in such a way that she got into my network, and next thing you know, she's got her own little network. That's pretty big. It has a lot of my people in it. And they're hitting on her. And it's like, okay.
Now, do you ever... Now, you know what you're supposed to do.
What?
Well, you're supposed to chat these guys up and then say, let's do a Skype, and then you don't turn your camera on. Say, show me what you look like. And then you got to be ready with a screenshot. To be honest
about it, I'm only so sick.
Oh,
but to get these guys to pull a tube in is what you're trying to tell me?
Or at least expose them. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are correct. That's right. And you should be there with a PBR, your PBR hat on, smiling at them.
The PBR hat's what I need. Hey, dude, what are you doing? Oh, no. He continues his note. He says he went all in on No Agenda Social. I wish I had done it sooner. I just used a web interface, so no notifications. And while it's full of confirmation bias, I guess, confirmation bias toward the show. I like to think that the years I've spent listening to you two makes me question everything to an extent. It's just so great to have a community of like-minded folks, even if there are a few fringe folks in there. Folks is another one of these social justice.
It's racist.
Social justice words. Uh-huh. I wear my night ring every day. Well, the plating is going to come off of it if you do that. And swap between the OG challenge coin and the Orwell coin.
Nice.
And I've even managed to hit more than a few people in the mouth over our decade plus together. Here's to another 13 plus years.
Yeah.
Thanks for the donation and the note.
Tina, I think he may have put something on Instagram or something. Tina saw, maybe Twitter. Tina saw. I said, "Look at this. This is just challenge coin." I said, "Maybe you want to see all my challenge coins?" He's like, "No, that's okay. That's all right." It's a real chick magnet. I have a box of challenge
coin. Yeah, that'll do it.
And works very well. Wow. Did he need a karma for this? No, nothing else requested, I believe. He will have a title upgrade.
Don't see it.
Yeah.
There was a good group of people. Those are our associate executives and
good
executive.
Notes. Yeah, good notes.
And with good notes and not a lot of jingles. And the ones that were given make sense.
Yep.
In other words, they tell the story. I want to thank these folks for producing this show.
Yes, it is episode 1330 of the No Agenda Show, best podcast in the universe. And we appreciate these people who now have titles. Some can put them on their IMDb. You may be able to open an IMDb with them. I don't know about that. And others like to put them on LinkedIn. It's another place we can try it.
If you notice the newsletter, I did promote the idea. We had a couple of different things, promotions, including the belated Pi Day donation.
Yes.
Of 314.20.
Yeah,
and we got none.
I was going to say, how'd that work out for you? No.
That didn't work out at all.
No, that's not going to work. We'll be thanking more producers in our second donation segment. As you can tell, these are funny segments. You learn something in these. And if you'd like to participate in this for our Sunday show, all you have to do is go to this website.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you very much for your time, your talent, and your treasure here at the best podcast in the universe.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
I should mention that in the Pi donation, I had 3 selections. One of them was 3,000, or 3,000. Nobody's doing that one. The 300 one, nobody did that. Right. But the $31.41, 3 people.
Oh, really?
Picked up on it. 3 whole people, including Dave Fugazotto.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you to all of those people.
Yeah.
Oh my.
No.
Okay.
Well, Biden.
Yeah, Biden. Yeah.
So Biden goes on Good Morning America.
I'm happy because I did not see this interview, so I'll be able to hear your edits.
Well, I didn't do any edits.
Oh, then I won't hear any edits. But you
will. You'll hear the edits.
Oh, their edits. Oh, no,
that's what I was talking about. Was their edits.
Do I need to make a noise when I hear an edit, or just no? That'd be too much.
Ring a bell if you can.
All right. Okay, I'll try.
So they talked about. I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, how was this billed? Was this billed as him finally speaking to the press, or this was,
and it was plugged to an extreme.
Wait, this is his news conference, just talking to ABC.
Yeah.
No,
much.
Really?
No, I think he's going to do a news conference, but this was promoted as this is Joe coming out and talking, and it was obvious to me because some of the edits were Joe where he goes off the rails, and so they caught all of his gaffes, all of them. There's no gaffes except he made one little mistake, and they didn't cut it, they didn't spot it. I think I'm the only one who spotted it, and the news media would never spot it. And we'll start with that one, and this is the. GMA Biden illogic is the clip.
Let's talk about the crisis at the border. Some heartbreaking scenes down there right now. And a lot of the migrants coming in saying they're coming in because you promised to make things better. It seems to be getting worse by the day. Was it a mistake not to anticipate this surge?
Well, first of all, there was a surge the last 2 years in 19 and 20. There was a surge as well.
This one might be worse.
No, well, it could be. But here's the deal. First of all, the idea that Joe Biden said come because I heard the other day that they're coming because they know I'm a nice guy and I won't do what Trump did.
This.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. They're not. The adults are being sent back, number one. Number two, what do you do with an unaccompanied child that comes to the border? Do you repeat what Trump did? Do you take them from their mothers to move them away, hold them in cells, etc.?
I heard an edit at the end there.
Well,
I think Joe mooed.
Probably, but Joe mooed. Let's go over what he said.
Yeah, please.
GMA couldn't get rid of. What do you do about unaccompanied minors? He says.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do what Trump did and take them away from their mothers?
Isn't that beautiful? Unaccompanied minors being taken away from their mothers who are not accompanying them.
That's exactly what he said. Now, and I think ABC found most of these kinds of stupid follow-ups and comments that are dumb, like that, unaccompanied minors with their mother. But the rest of them, they're all clean. This is the only one that got by him, and nobody picked up on it. Nobody in the media said, well, that was kind of silly what he said there.
It's a great well, they heard it, but they couldn't get rid of it, so they couldn't cut out of it. They tried cutting in with, here's the deal a couple times.
Well, I put that in there.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Well done.
So he kept saying, here's the deal.
Yeah.
And look. All right, here he is on the, let's try this question. Let me see which order they're. This is a continuation of the talk he was just giving, and this is the dumbest. You got to listen to this one and tell me what you think. This is the GMA Biden asylum in place clip.
We're not doing that. So what we're doing is we have brought in HHS and also brought in FEMA to provide for enough safe facilities for them to not to get out of the control of the Border Patrol, which are not designed to hold people for long periods of time, particularly children, get them out of those facilities. And most of them come with a phone number. So what we're doing is we're putting together an entire organizational structure so that within 7 days they're able to get in the phone, contact that number, find out whether there is a mother or a father, whether it is safe, whether it is a secure circumstance to get the child to that adult.
It's going to take some time, though, to get those policies in place again. Do you have to say quite clearly, don't come?
Yes, I can say quite clearly, don't come. And what we're in the process of getting set up, and it's not going to take a whole long time, is to be able to apply for asylum in place. So don't leave your town or city or community. We're going to make sure we have facilities in those cities and towns run by DHS and also accessed with HHS, the Health and Human Services, to say you can apply for asylum from where you are right now. Make your case. We'll have people there to determine whether or not you are able to meet the requirement you qualify for asylum. That's the best way to do this.
I'm confused. Didn't we already have that in place? I clearly remember the Trump administration.
No, the Trump administration put the asylum offices, if you want to call them that, on the other side of the border in Mexico.
Ah, okay. Now
you haul your ass up to Mexico, and then
you're good to go, right?
Well, no. They're going to take and put offices, American offices for DHS.
Yeah.
And FEMA, and they're going to take Americans and put them down in Guatemala.
Yeah.
In all the cities in Guatemala. So you're whatever city you're in. He said in the cities, all the cities. There's more than one.
12. You said.
And you're going to you go in there and you apply right there in the office because there's an American office right there. This makes no sense.
Well, isn't just devil's advocate? Isn't that exactly what embassies do?
Embassies do that, yes.
I mean, if you go to the embassy and say, I request asylum, I think they have to at least take you in and do the evaluation.
I believe so.
Okay, so, hey, I'm okay with an asylum process. I
don't have a problem with it either, but to move a bunch of DHS and FEMA employees down to Guatemala to set up shop, when what you just said is true, which is there's an embassy down there, you can do it there.
The embassy should do it. Maybe they're going to expand a wing of the embassy. But definitely.
But why won't they use embassy employees, diplomats? Well, you don't use DHS and FEMA. FEMA?
Well, I would say that's because they expect a lot of people to sign up. So,
I don't see. Well, I will note this. Stephanopoulos, whatever you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He did no follow-up questions on any of this. I mean, the opportunity to say, well, especially with the taking the unaccompanied children away from their mothers, would just invite a follow-up or a clarification. Clarification would be all within. Look, correct himself.
I'm just. It all depends on the criteria for asylum. That we are a country that cares about people. So, but it has to be. You have to qualify. But it's kind of being played by the right-wing media, and Tucker Carlson went off like a nut job on this, saying, so without asking the American people, you bring in more people and make us poorer and worse. Yeah, that's for people who make it in. But just asylum, and I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so a lot of people want asylum, and the embassy can't handle it, so send a whole bunch of DHS down there. It's more a question of, are they just rubber stamping people and saying, no problem, keep on going, here's your papers? That's what I'd like to know. I have no problem with legal immigration or asylum. It's just, we don't have, you're right, Stephanopoulos did a poor job. No one's asking the actual questions. What does that mean?
No. Say the least. Okay. It was scripted, let's face it. Scripted and then edited down so Biden didn't look normal. He looked like he was on top of his game. So here he is about leaving Afghanistan.
President Trump reached a deal with the Taliban to have all American troops leave by May 1st. Are they going to leave?
I'm in the process of making that decision now as to when they'll leave. The fact is that that was not a very solidly negotiated deal that the former president, worked out. And so we're in consultation with our allies as well as the government, and that decision's going to it's in process now.
Likely to take longer?
I don't think a lot longer.
But May 1st is tough.
Could happen, but it is tough because, look, one of the drawbacks, George, and this is going to be like Sanskrit to people listening here, but it is the failure to have an orderly transition from the Trump presidency to my presidency, which usually takes place from election day to the time you're sworn in, has cost me time and consequences. For example, we didn't realize how bad things were in terms of lack of vaccines. We were not able to get access to this information. That's one of the issues we're talking about now.
What? First of all, what's with the Sanskrit people listening?
I have no idea why he said that.
Sanskrit, that's like... does he mean, is that a different word for Iranians?
Well, the Sanskrit only refers to Indians, as far as I know. So it's just a racist comment.
Indo-Iranian is the...
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sanskrit is Indo-Iranian, so the Persian script derived from Sanskrit?
Indo-Iranic languages, Aryan languages, Indo-Iran, yeah.
Huh.
Well, I don't know anything about. I'm just reading Wikipedia. It means nothing. But this Afghanistan reply is wholly. Well, the question is inadequate, as is the reply.
Well, he says with our ally. I'm thinking because he said, now that you brought the Indo-Iranian thing in, does he mean by our allies Iran?
Let's. I tell you what. Let's go back and
because
listen.
the Iranians hate the Taliban.
Let's listen.
A solidly negotiated deal that
let's see, where was it?
The former president, worked out. And so we're in consultation with our allies as well as the government, and that decision's going to it's in process now.
Likely to take longer?
I don't think a lot longer.
But May 1st is tough.
Could happen, but it is tough because, look, one of the drawbacks, George, and this is going to be like Sanskrit to people listening here, but...
Oh, no, he said something different. This is going to be like Sanskrit to people listening here. Does that mean that we're too dumb to understand?
Well, that's what he implies, for sure.
Drawbacks, George, and this is going to be like Sanskrit to people listening here, but it is the failure to have an orderly transition from...
Jeez, that's really odd. Sanskrit. No.
Has Iran on his mind.
Yeah, something's going on.
Two more.
By the way, the only reason we're there is to guard the poppy fields. Wake up. Wake up, Stephanopoulos. Wake up. Ask about the poppy. Why are we protecting the poppy fields And he should say the answer is, well, we don't want the poppies to get in the hands of people we don't control. We like our drug cartels. That's the answer.
Well, yeah, it's part of the CIA's black budget.
Yes. That's how they make
They'd be asking for a lot more money from the taxpayers if they weren't making some money on the side. And, this is a pretty good idea.
A little gig economy over there.
It's a gig economy. So let's go on with what he thinks about Putin.
Oh, wow. This is also ratcheting up now. This is driving me nuts.
Director of National Intelligence came out with a report today saying that Vladimir Putin...
By the way, stop. This is bull crap, what he's about to say. And this was debunked by the latest Glenn Greenwald column, where he just blasted the media for propagating a bunch of bull crap, including this. And here it is, right in real time. They're propagating this nonsense about the Russian interference in the 2020 election. But people got to track down Glenn Greenwald's column, which wasn't even that long. It was only
It was long enough. It was long enough. I saw it. I always know what time Tina comes out of her morning read in the bed by how long the Glenn Greenwald article or the Matt Taibbi article. Okay, 10 minutes later than usual. Must be a long Taibbi article. Yeah, here we go.
Director of National Intelligence came out with a report today saying that Vladimir Putin authorized operations during the election to denigrate you, support President Trump, undermine our elections, divide our society. What price must he pay?
He will pay a price. We had a long talk. He and I know him relatively well. And the conversation started off, I said, I know you and you know me. If I establish this occurred, then be prepared.
You said he doesn't have a soul.
I did say that to him, yes. And his response was, we understand one another. I wasn't being a wise guy. I was alone with him in his office. That's how it came about. It was when...
Hold on a second. When was he in his... This is a long time ago. This is not recent. He makes it sound like he just had this talk, and then it's like, well, in his office...
Yeah, he's full of crap.
This is one I got arrested while trying to find Nelson Mandela. Is that what this is? Oh, yeah. I told him, you got no soul, asshole, in his office when no one was there. I did. I'm bad.
And his response was, we understand one another. I wasn't being a wise guy. I was alone with him in his office. That's how it came about. It was when President Bush had said, I've looked in his eyes and saw a soul. I said, looked in your eyes, and I don't think you have a soul. And looked back at me and said, we understand each other. Look, most important thing dealing with foreign leaders, in my experience, and I've dealt with an awful lot of them over my career, is just know the other guy.
So you know Vladimir Putin. You think he's a killer?
Mm-hmm. I do.
So what price must he pay?
The price he's going to pay, well, you'll see shortly. I'm not going to...
What the fuck?
By the way, we ought to be able, that trite expression, walk and chew gum at the same time. There are places where it's in our mutual interest to work together. That's why I renewed the START agreement with him. That occurred while he's doing this. But that's overwhelming in the interest of humanity that we diminish the prospect of a nuclear exchange.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. If there was an interview with Jorge Rickenstein, that's the Stephanopoulos of Russia, and Putin said, oh yeah, that soulless bastard Joe Biden, yeah, I know what he did. He's got what's coming to him. He'll find out. We would be going ape shit. We would have the giant voice systems drilling us every week. Stand by, Russian is incoming. You can't say that on an international stage. Yeah, I'll get back at you. You'll see what's going to happen. I'm sorry. Am I overreacting?
I didn't have that reaction necessarily because I think Biden's senile. But you're not overreacting the way I see it. I think that reaction is reasonable.
Jeez, my goodness.
Yeah, if Putin had done the same thing and made these sites of, he's insulting him.
Well, he's saying the United States will strike back at him.
Bomb them, and bomb them again.
You know? All right, fine. Yes, I'm sure Putin is also laughing. Like, fine, Joe. It's good.
I don't know if Putin's got that much of. I mean, he does have something of a sense of humor because we've seen it exhibited. But I don't think he likes this sort of thing where the president calls him a soulless a-hole.
And that he was going to get him back.
We know each other. That's bull crap. This guy stinks.
So let's just debunk what basically what Greenwald was saying was that there was no such report. There was no report, or the report is flawed.
There's a report that has with admittedly no evidence. It's just blather.
Right,
being reported as something that's evidentiary when it's not.
Right. So the three stories we have this week in the United States mainstream media, and it's the same everywhere, I'm sure, in one way or the other. Putin, Russia. Putin, he meddled with the 2020 election, and he'll get what's coming to him. We have Republicans are the assholes. They want to kill us all because they won't vaccinate. And what is the third one is they're hunting Asians.
Yeah, I had some clips about the situation in Atlanta, which is just an eye roller.
It is,
but I'll put those. I'm going to push those to Sunday because there's an eye roller moment. The ones, especially the ones that they played on PBS. But let's finish this. We got the one last one because this is the only one that got any attention. This is the one about Cuomo. And he finally kind of, but didn't fully, but he wanted to, but he almost did, but he didn't quite throw Cuomo under the bus.
Let me ask you about Governor Cuomo of New York. I know you said you want the investigation to continue. If the investigation confirms the claims of the women, should he resign?
Yes, I think he probably end up being prosecuted, too.
But how about right now? You've said you want the investigation to continue. You saw Chuck Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, majority of the congressional delegation don't think he can be an effective governor right now. Can he serve effectively?
That's a judgment for them to make about their state where they can be effective. Here's my position. It's been my position since I wrote the Violence Against Women Act. A woman should be presumed to telling the truth and should not be scapegoated and become victimized by her coming forward. Number one. But there should be an investigation to determine whether what she says is true. That's what's going on now.
And you've been very clear. If the investigation confirms the claims, he's gone.
That's what I think happens. And by the way, it may very well be that there could be a criminal prosecution that is attached to it. I just don't know. But let the investigation. And I don't know what it is. But I started with the presumption. It takes a lot of courage for a woman to come forward. So the presumption is it should be taken seriously. And it should be investigated. And that's what's underway now.
Yeah, because, gosh, let's not investigate if he made bad decisions that killed a lot of old people. This was a topic.
Yeah, well, you can't get around that.
Yeah, well, this is de Blasio, the mayor of New York, was on. This was ABC. This is CBS, Face the Nation, with a similar message.
Do you believe that he and his administration deliberately tried to cover up the scale of nursing home deaths?
Haha, I got you.
I don't have a doubt in my mind. Everything was about his public image. Everything was about his political future. It was not about what people needed. And by the way, it was about campaign contributions. The nursing home industry, the big hospital systems, they gave him millions and millions of dollars. And he went easy on them. And he tried to cover up for everyone, not just him, but his donors. And I think the investigations are going to prove this, Margaret. This was a thoroughly corrupt situation. And he just needs to resign so we can actually turn the page. Mm-hmm. And look, it's an optimistic time, as you started out this morning. It's an optimistic time. We got to put the past behind us. Well, and Andrew Cuomo can't lead us into the future. Well, we've got the people of the state ready to reopen, but we need to get him out of the way to do it.
Now, CBS does that while ABC is blowing Joe? Not a single question about it. Same week.
There was that. Well, this was only part of. They have another part coming.
Okay.
So we can't say that we know for a fact that he didn't ask something about it, except that he should have asked something about it when he was talking about Cuomo in the first place.
Right.
So you don't revisit the guy. By the way, let's go back to Putin. I don't think that's going to happen either.
Let's go back to Putin. Yeah. Actually, I have, what is this? Oh, this is Cuomo. and Clinton, politicians past and present.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
They had that same pacing.
Oh yeah, it's everything. Hello, it's what you do. It's what you do when you've been caught red-handed.
I never said that you're a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that means you did.
Hey, I caught an interesting episode of Banyan's show. War Room.
He's still podcasting.
Oh my God, 2 episodes a day. I don't,
what?
Yeah, oh yeah. He's still doing, well, it's 2 hours, but it comes in as 2 episodes. I barely listen to it. It's
a day?
2 hours a day. Yeah.
That's a lot.
And sometimes a Saturday special. We got a special.
I can't stop talking.
By the way, he's the #1 podcast in the world, the most downloaded ever.
Bull crap.
Of course it's bull crap. Hello. Banyan. But he did have a good one. And I really like this. This is about Frank Giustra. Do you remember Frank Giustra?
Nope.
He's the Scandinavian guy who gave huge anonymous, he basically bundled donations for the Clinton Foundation or the Clinton Global Initiative. And in that was alleged payoff for Hillary getting the Uranium One deal done.
Oh, yes.
And now Frank Giustra owns like a uranium mines, and it's a whole tawdry mess. But Frank Giustra seems to be more important in these types of relationship with people like the Clintons than I expected.
Frank Giustra, if you read Clinton Cash, he's the villain in back of all of it. He's a penny stock operator, one of the most corrupt guys in Canada. He's in back of the Uranium One deal. He's the one doing all these companies, flipping them around. Next thing you know, they got $1 billion of value with mining rights somewhere. He is a complete promoter, stock promoter, penny stock promoter up in Vancouver, which is the Dodge City of capital markets. It turns out that they're at he's the billionaire who's a place she's hanging out with Archie in Vancouver. This guy is the Clinton Foundation. He was the guy flying with Bill Clinton of Africa, promising guys $1 billion here. We're going to put all this money in. Nothing materialized. Total promoter, right? Got the Clintons wrapped around the axle on the Clinton Foundation and Clinton Global Initiatives, and now he's got his hooks into the Hewitts.
They're the new Clintons. They're the new Clintons. Well, the Harry and Meghan. He's saying Hewitts because that's his real father's name, James Hewitt. You know, the Major Hewitt, who was Harry's real dad.
That is the okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of obscure.
So Harry and Meghan will be the new Clintons if this continues with the Giustra cash infusion and him promoting them on the international stage. Be on the lookout for it. That could be interesting.
Not quite as interesting as Hillary, who could do a deal with the Russians. These two can't do anything.
Well, that's true. That's true. But Meghan can learn a lot. You know, she could learn a lot. Now, let's just talk briefly about Atlanta. You don't have any clips on that by any chance, do you?
I had a clip. I'd rather put it off and get some other stuff out of the way.
Okay.
But what do you want to talk about?
Oh, I just had some feedback from one of our Asian producers.
Oh, well, let's play that, and then I can...
Oh, it's just reading. It's not a playback. I can hold it. You want me to hold it until...
Yeah, I think you should hold it, because there are some interesting aspects to this.
So Sunday
we can actually plan a segment.
Okay. All right. Hey, Wing May, thanks for sending that in. It'll never get read. The segment's never going to happen. This is the No Agenda curse, which you've just witnessed. Okay, no, that's good. I will make a note.
I wanted to promote the fact that I'm 2/3 of the way done with this special that will be running during our hiatus, our 2 days off.
Oh wait, so I don't have to do one?
You don't have to do one, but if you don't do one, then we're gonna have to play your stories.
Is it any good?
Oh, it's killer. Let me give you some examples.
Okay.
I want to tease it. It's going to be in a complete 2 hours plus on climate change.
Okay.
With just nothing but clips.
Wow.
And I have a couple of examples of the kinds of clips we'll be getting.
Now we're going to roll this out first? This is going to be our first?
I think it should be first, yeah.
Okay, because we're taking 2 shows off, everybody. I know it's going to be rough. I know it's going to be hard, but there will be top-notch entertainment for you on those 2 shows that we take off, our first time in 15 months.
I have discovered we have so many clips on climate change, and I have had to actually cull some because they weren't interesting, as most of these are. These are very either interesting, funny, poignant, or stupid, and it's loaded. But let's play a couple of examples. These are just like less than a minute out of the whole segments.
Okay.
Let's listen to the arrogant climate scientist. This is a climate scientist. She's a scientist, and she's being discussing science. She's about the science of the climate, the science. Here we go.
Geologic history. And even if the contribution we're making is just the one straw that breaks the camel's back, isn't that enough to get you to want to curtail our behavior?
I think that's actually a really good question. I'm glad you asked it. Because people keep telling climate scientists, like, oh, the climate's always changed. And we're like, we know, we told you that. We are essentially the people who study that. We figured that out. What percentage of the warming right now are humans responsible for? Over 100%.
Oh, now was my complete OCD categorization of clips on the archive disc any help?
I'm not even going to mention it. I have a new search tool.
Oh.
And I use it, and it wasn't the categorization as much as it was the search tool and the keywords.
What's the search tool?
Oh, I think it's a thing called Everything.
Oh, that's the one we talked about it on the show. That's what I use now. That's what I always use.
It's a stunner.
It's the best.
It's a stunner.
Yeah.
But this woman, she's a scientist, and she says just out of the blue, humans are
100
over 100% responsible.
Oh, my.
What kind of a scientist would say something like that? Oh, yeah, we're 110%. I'm 110% sure. I mean, this kind of thing, that's not a science. That's stupid. All right. That's one example of many.
Just as an aside, I got the new QST magazine. You probably don't. You don't support the ARL, do you? The ham radio organization. No. So
I intend to once.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So I get I get one magazine. It's monthly, and it's QRT, QRZ, QRT, whatever it is. It's the.
That was QST.
QST. God, now I don't even know. It's the ham radio magazine, and the cover of it is a huge sun fireball, and it says, "Solar Cycle 25 is here."
Oh, yeah. I saw this.
Now, so.
You send it around.
What's interesting is one of the first comments. By the way, that's why we're going to see things change, because now we're at the bottom, and the sunspot activity is about to increase, and this makes ham radio operators very happy. It'll last about 7 years, 11 really from start to end. The first comment I got, yeah, I think my dad has some of those old magazines laying around. Like this, and honestly, it looks, when you see the wording and that cover.
I saw it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like, oh, man.
It looks like some from the 30s. Yeah. Popular Mechanics.
Yes. And I'm like, yeah, that's actual science. But okay, whatever. Yeah, Aurora watchers love the solar cycle too. All right. More.
Well, okay, I got 2 more then.
Okay, good. Another tease. We like to get a tease.
This is Soros this is from 2008. And this is Soros. They brought Soros on to talk about global climate change, global warming. This is 2008. And he just this is what we're living through now because of this guy. Play.
So let's leave them something to think about as they go home. Let them go home and say, Mr. Soros said, here are 3 things we can do. Simply. 1,
work on a better world order.
where we work together to resolve problems that confront humanity, like global warming. And I think that dealing with global warming will require a lot of investment. You see, for the last 25 years, the world economy, the motor of the world economy that has been driving it was consumption by the American consumer, who has been spending more than he's been saving.
Oh, man!
All right? Than he's been producing. So that motor is now switched off. It's finished. It's run out of, it can't continue. You need a new motor. And we have a big problem. Global warming. It requires big investment. And that could be the motor of the world economy in the years to come.
Putting more money in, building infrastructure, converting to green technology.
Instead of consuming, building electricity grid, saving on energy, rewiring the houses, adjusting your lifestyle, where energy is got to cost more until you introduce those new things. So it will be painful, but at least we will survive and not cook.
Wow, that's good. Gosh. Golly. It's all in there. Also, like, it's got to be painful. It's almost like Dr. Bill with a shot. Well, for some people, it'll be super painful, but we're just going to rewire your house. Wow. Well, you can add this one to the mix. This is not a clip that we originally played in 2018, but the clip Crusader, Neil Jones threw it into my bag for the show this morning. This is Bill Gates on CBS Evening News in February of 2018.
But I read in one of the interviews you gave in the last week or two, it was just published, you said rich nations should move to 100% synthetic beef.
Unless we can make the cow zero emission, which, I'm not sure we can, we do need to to get rid of those emissions. And, it's not going to happen overnight. The scale up and the innovation still required there is quite large. But yes, zero is a very demanding number, and it doesn't allow you to say, well, all but, the 6% that comes from cows.
And I thought this was interesting because it does present yet another opportunity for an exit for us, which we didn't catch in 2018. Bovine catalytic converters.
Oh, yeah, stick them up the cow's butt.
Yes.
Yeah, they would jack up the platinum price, so we could do a little pre-investment in platinum futures.
Why does tell me about platinum?
Oh, platinum is the catalytic converters. That's the mechanism makes it work.
Okay. Can we just
when they use the word catalytic, you have to have a catalyst, and platinum is the catalyst in most of these situations.
Maybe just a platinum tube we can shove in the cow's butt?
Shove a platinum tube up a cow's butt.
Yeah.
And all the millions, and I don't know, maybe over 1 billion cows out there, I mean, the platinum is going to be at a premium for sure. Yeah.
I'm liking this. I'm liking
it too. Nice to mention. I think we'll go with that.
I
got my last clip, my last teaser clip.
Ooh, wait! It's the catalytic converter. Ooh. Hold on.
Catalytic converter. You got that from the chat.
Yeah. No, I got it from a troll. The troll is Dustin in the wind.
Dustin in the wind.
Catalytic converter. Damn. Catalytic. Yeah, that's. I'm
liking it.
That's dynamite.
We get a web page immediately. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to play.
I expect a website by the time the show is over.
Okay, now this is 2017 clip. This is Justin Trudeau telling it like it is.
Okay.
Let me be very blunt about this. Coal represents perhaps the greatest challenge to Canada or to the world not meeting its climate change targets. Unless we reduce coal consumption, we are not going to be able to create catastrophic global warming.
Now, how do you put that in the mix so people don't miss it? I mean, do you repeat that?
No.
That's so
Believe
good.
me, it works. It's just one clip after another clip after another clip, and it's a pace and flow thing, and it goes on for 2 hours. We'll, of course, break it up in the middle ourselves.
See, what I wanted to do is a best of that is all of the end of show songs since COVID started. So really the last year, more or less.
Well, why don't you do that?
I think it's going to be good because there's a lot.
Because with these search engines we've got, we can put these together pretty quickly, faster than somebody outside can do just using our shows.
Because we have all the archives.
Why don't you do that? I'll do this, and that's what we'll run into too. And we'll put your stories into a backup emergency. We do need one in the can as an emergency.
Is that one any good? My stories?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, geez, that's like a woman saying, "Fine."
It's fine. He's got a good personality.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Yeah, no, why don't you do that? Because then we can keep your stories in abeyance.
Yeah.
Because I really honestly think that we should always have one.
Oh, yeah, in case, yeah, of course, in case catastrophe strikes.
It would be something like the power going out for good, or who knows. There's a lot of different reasons.
We need a suitcase that someone knows to grab and what to do. There's instructions in there if we can't do the show.
Void Zero can do this.
It's kind of like in the Netherlands.
Bamrose could
and in the UK, if some of the royal family dies, there's a box with the certain songs you got to play.
Yeah, we can have a couple of guys.
Podcasts are
both
down.
Void Zero and Bamrose can handle
They'll
that.
take care of it. All right. Sorted. All right, good. Our backup plan is clearly done. So that was it? Those are good. No, you had one more, you said. Didn't you?
Those are the ones that, there's other ones. I mean, there's this one here. I do have one more but this one is, where is this one? I think I may have bumped it already. Oh, this is one I'm working on getting a fact check for. Okay. Because this is bull crap. And there's counter clips that are also in this thing that say it's bull crap too. But I'm going to say it's bull crap. Because this guy's claiming that nobody lives in Florida because they won't give you insurance. This is one of the, this setup, by the way, this whole 2 hours plus will have both sides of the debate. And one side is hysteric and one side is reasonable. Right. Not that I have any bias myself, but listen to this fact check. This is from 2014.
20 people were hurt overnight too seriously when a South African Airways jetliner hit severe turbulence on its way to Hong Kong. Oh, yeah. One passenger's head put a hole in the overhead bin on the Airbus A340. The turbulence.
This is fact check CBS. Is that wrong?
I think this is a misclip.
It says.
No, I know what it says, and I think you're playing the clip it says to play, and the one I'm talking about.
Well, I want to finish it now.
I do too. That's the joke of it.
On the Airbus A340, the turbulence happened without warning. Many passengers were sleeping. Turbulence is caused when two air masses move against each other. One British study predicts that this kind of turbulence will increase significantly in the future because of climate change.
And her head is gone.
Yeah, that's a good one too, though. I like that one.
That's a good one, but I don't remember putting it into the mix so far. I'm going to go back and dig that one up.
Uh-oh. Wow.
Oh, believe me, there's so much that we've accumulated on this show for, we're doing the show into the 14th year, or into the 13th. We have so much material on certain topics in global warming. It's one of them. Both sides, there's pro and con. Mm-hmm. It's a balanced report. It should win a Pulitzer.
I agree. Absolutely.
Or a Peabody, at least a Peabody.
Minimum, a Webby.
An Amby.
An Amby. You should have been an Amby.
So we will.
An Amby.
And if Adam does his song mix, which I think he can probably crank out.
That's Ammy all the way. Amby.
And so we'll have a couple of dynamite shows that may actually be better than our normal show.
Oh, I don't know about that, but it will.
It's possible. It's quite possible.
Wow. Okay. I want to just do 2 quick OTG remarks. Something you should stay away from, and something I'd like to recommend. So the first is Google's Nest. The next version of the Nest will be able to do the following. It's called sleep sensing, and it will monitor the breathing and movement of a person sleeping near the screen without a camera or without needing to wear a device in bed. And it detects disturbances such as coughing and snoring, light and temperature changes. And this will be sold to you as something great because, Google's making sure you have a healthy night's sleep. But I'm sure I don't have to tell you why you don't want this in your home. And the next thing is I want to advocate, and I started using just small pieces of this particular open source package when I got the No Agenda phone, as I was looking to completely remove myself for calendar and contacts. In fact, contacts, I think, was still coming from Google, and calendar was Apple iCal. And I found Nextcloud. And I've now completely integrated Nextcloud into my life, and it is a dynamite product. And this is a suite. It even has an Office widget in there called.
I had to ask you to remind me what that was because I still haven't looked at the Office suite.
It's called Only Office.
And I would be very interested in this. Looks like a tremendous project. It's an open source project.
Yeah.
That's a fork. It's a fork, actually.
Yeah. And so what I have is now file management is really very well done. That's the main crux of the whole thing. But because it's open source, you can add, people can make these additional functionalities. So, of course, photos, the email client, and I have Rain Loop, is what I've chosen, is a really good email client. I love a lightweight web-based email client. And what's so great about it is talking to your mail server through IMAP, and it's pre-caching stuff before you hit it with the browser. So, so it's very, very fast, and it has keyboard shortcuts. Contacts, calendar, audio player, notes. I use the notes a lot. Tasks as well. That's kind of like an outliner. Tons of stuff. It's free. You can run it on an extra machine you have at home. But even getting, I think, like 500 gigabytes on a cloud server with your own instance and a domain name is, I think, $10 a month. And you want to share a file with someone, just drag and drop. You get a link right away, and there's no spying. It's open source, and you can even it's endless. It's a very interesting product, and I recommend it. And I think everyone should give it a shot. You can at many places you can try a free account for a while.
OpenCloud.com, I believe.
Oh yeah, are they making? Do they sell setups?
I'm just starting to explore it.
And this is okay. And then I'll just end with this. Again, when I see Glenn Greenwald, and it seems like all he's doing these days, which is it's becoming boring to me, and I'm a Greenwald fan.
I enjoy it.
It's all about the media and who's kicking who off of Twitter and this and that and Silicon Valley and big tech. And if I could just go to every person and shake them and slap them in the face, they snap out of it. Click here. Go to an alternative. BitChute. I see video views on BitChute of hundreds of thousands. There's alternatives. You don't need to be in these godforsaken hellholes that are rotting your brain like the drug they are. But this will be my swan song. No one cares.
Well, they're all getting shots around you.
Ugh. Yes, I'll have freedom.
I love that, by the way.
Nah, it makes me kind of sad. Hey, you sent me a text message, which I didn't quite understand yesterday.
I did?
Yeah, you sent me a text message about Portland having to rehire police after the defunding of the police?
Yeah.
Was that something?
They have to hire them on an emergency basis because murders have gone up 2,000%.
After they defunded the police?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How's that working, that defund? And I was just wondering why you texted me that. You never text me.
I don't know I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. It doesn't matter. I do have a follow-up story to that, though. as Fort Worth. That's, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm not sure if let me just check. Did Fort Worth defund the police? Let me see. I bet they did.
I hope not.
Fort Worth. Dallas and Fort Worth, man. Defunding Texas. It looks like they had proposals. It may not have happened, but it doesn't matter because they have taken the advice to heart. We need to have people, social workers, who go and do the police work. It makes no sense to send a cop with a big scary gun and the flashy lights. We need to send people who can help resolve and can help do this. Civilians, basically. And here's a report.
Well, if you call 911 to report a crime in Fort Worth, a civilian may soon respond instead of a police officer, but only for certain nonviolent calls. It's part of a brand new civilian response unit. The first class graduates tomorrow morning. And tonight, Scott Gordon takes a closer look at how the new program will work.
Inside the Fort Worth Police Academy, the latest class of recruits is taking a final exam before graduating, but they won't become police officers. They're civilians who won't drive squad cars, but marked cars like this one. They'll respond to certain low-risk police calls like abandoned cars, burglaries, and credit card fraud.
No, we weren't armed and we don't have, we're not going to have no guns or anything like that, but we're here to give you the best, our knowledge to provide the best service.
Like her 8 classmates, Vanessa Clementino just finished 6 weeks of training in how to take basic police reports.
I really appreciate these people, and I find it quite patriotic that they want to do this work, but holy crap, are you kidding me? For robberies, you're going to send that? When you've been robbed, you want a fucking cop there making you feel better.
Yeah, there is that element.
You're like, who are you? Who are you?
Some social worker that's just taking out.
No, she's going to, if you're traumatized, here's a number to call. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, counselors. There's another screwy thing. This one is pretty funny. Not being reported yet. Washington State sued for allowing military training in state parks. Yeah.
Wait, so
the Whitby Environmental Action Group filed a lawsuit against the Washington State Parks and Rec Commission seeking to overturn a January decision to allow Navy SEALs to train and conduct undercover surveillance on unknowing park visitors.
As training?
Yeah.
So
you're visiting a park and there's a bunch of guys with binoculars watching you.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
If a park visitor gets too close to a SEAL, military personnel will try to discourage the park visitor from being in the area. The decision also allows the Navy to prevent boaters from using the park waterfronts. I guess they're just using the parks as their place. They're crawling around, and I'm surprised they haven't had a paintball, and they shoot some poor park visitor in the back.
Yeah, well, they should use those people, where you go on the range and you have to, and these things pop up and you got to shoot only the bad guys and not any innocent bystanders.
Yes,
do this. Do it there with paintball guns, and just have the bad guys popping out from behind trees, and you're shooting them and trying not to hit the civilians. Wow.
We don't have enough facilities.
I came unplugged.
We don't have enough military facilities in the country. We have to use the state parks to train the Navy SEALs.
Well, the state parks is one thing, but the state civilians is kind of the
well, yeah, right. Using the civilians as targets. And if you don't recall, you might. Do you remember? It was probably 2 years ago where the U.S. Navy, I think it was the Navy again, fake strafed Miami with F-16s or some jet. Remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, they came into Miami. They fake strafed the whole main street of Miami Beach or something like that.
What's a strafe? Like a bomb run?
No, like a gun run, like where you're shooting everybody. You're strafing them.
Really?
Yeah, don't you remember this story? Somebody out there remembers this story because it was a big scandal because you had these jets flying overhead as though they were trying to kill everybody.
Damn.
I think this is the same thing going on in this parks. They're fake shooting the park visitors.
Fantastic.
According to Mimi, this whole thing going on up at the border between Canada and the United States and Trudeau, she says to me, you think we're at war with Canada? I said, what are you talking about? She says, the borders are closed off. Trudeau won't reopen them for no good reason. Oh. And there's all this weird military activity around the area where we live, which is on the border. We're on the border of Canada.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, more black helicopters than ever, she says.
Any gunfire?
There were some booms. Like bombs. Boom, boom.
I mean, yeah, we're making light of it, but the world is kind of shit right now. There's a lot of things.
We're making light of it, but
very weird
because it's funny. One, but the second side of it is not funny. If there's who knows what's going on, we're not getting told anything by the mainstream media. That's for sure. So we have to rely on rumors from my wife. Because we don't know anything. The mainstream media has not served the public for at least a decade.
And that's why we don't take any Chinese money or creepy ads from Big Pharma. Value for value is what we're all about.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
And we have a lot of people to thank today. Sir Man of the Center at the center of the center in Cincinnati, Ohio, 131.44. Aaron Farrell, $111.11 from Wadsworth, Illinois. Chris Meyer in North Canton, Ohio, comes in with 107.98 with a douchebag call out to Jim Meyer.
Douchebag.
Dr. Bloom in Canton, Massachusetts.
Boom. Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom, not Dr. Bloom.
And he wants a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
$100 from him. Nicholas Wagenfeller in Havre de Grace in Maryland. You can laugh at that pronunciation, but he's in for $100. Jasmine Pyers, $100 from Escondido, California. Danielle Grossenbacher in Mesa, Arizona, $100. Aaron and Trisha in San Antonio, $99. Melissa Chastain in Spanaway, Washington.
Hold on. Let me just mention that Danielle Grossenbacher marks 24th birthday of her son, Colin, and he's on the list. And, yes.
And Melissa is a birthday to her smoking hot boyfriend and the love of her life, Mark. Zachary Bailey in Saginaw, Michigan. 8008. A long-time boner. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Andrew Wang in San Jose, California, 8008. John and Kim Watson in Aurora, Colorado, 77. Tabitha.
Andrew Wang is one of our Asian American millennials. He sent in a couple things too. Yeah, they're showing themselves, John. They're here.
They're coming.
They're here.
John and Kim Watson. They're coming. John and Kim Watson in Aurora, California, 77. Tabitha Weeks in Diamonddale, Michigan. Is dedicated to her husband, amazing husband. Oh. For his birthday is not on the list.
Oh. Which one is this?
Mike Boyles, like Boyles.
I'm sorry, but who says it? Oh,
Tabitha Weeks wishes happy.
I got it. Okay, I'm good. Continue. I got it.
Sir Rick, our buddy in Arlington, Washington, 6996. Liptonite, 6969. Parts unknown. Colin Onufri in Fort Lee, New Jersey, your old stomping grounds. He wants a biscuit for his birthday. Justin Dogood, that's the only way I can pronounce it, in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, 6733, and he's got a birthday. I think he's on the list for sure. He's one of the rare producers who came to the show through Jen Briney's podcast.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh, Briney donation. It's hard to grasp your...
Need a golf
swing. It was hard to grasp your lingo and weird shtick. But now I agree with everything you say and feel super comfy with when mommy and daddy fight. You know, this meme, mommy and daddy. Neither one of us are mommy and daddy in this sense.
No, but this is, I'll just say it again. One, you do not see two people with real disagreement argue in the M5M that is real, and people just resolve it and move on. You don't see that. It's either endless phony baloney drama for days on end, or just
The
bullshit.
Bachelor.
Yeah, The Bachelor, or just bullshit. Now, there is a contingent, and I do understand, since you don't hear that, for many people it is triggering, and I understand this, because they had parents who would fight. And when their parents fought, that usually it's traumatizing for a lot of people. So for those of you who are triggered when you hear that, seek the origins of that. It's going back to you and your childhood and your parents.
You, not me.
It's totally your thing. Not you,
It is.
them. Yeah.
It's them, not us.
I'm just saying. But it's helpful because you can become a better person when you figure out what's triggering you. It'll make you feel better. I'm just saying.
Gabriel Aragon feels better. 5656 from La Mesa, California. And he has it's his first time donation, so he needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
But he's also calling out his snow-packed snow bro as a douchebag. Douchebag. And everybody talks in code.
We forgot something important on Justin. As one of the rare producers who came to the show through, I hear, so he becomes I humbly request ramen and rosé for the round table. He becomes a knight, and we didn't read that part.
Oh, okay.
And 38th birthday shout out for him. So yes, and so ramen and rosé are on the list.
Just did Gabriel. Now we're in Gummy Nerds, a Viscount of the Troll Room in Green Bay. Go Packers, Wisconsin, 5566. Daniel Mariano in Pflugerville, Texas, 5510. Dean Roker in East Grinstead, West Sussex, UK, 5510. Sir Pipkin of the Space Coast in Frisco, Texas. Got a birthday, 5510.
Yep.
Richard Futter in London, UK, 5510. David Russell, 5510 in Aurora, Colorado. It's dropping down to Anthony Tomaszewski in Montebello, New York at 55. Sir Brian Tobiasen in Gardner, Kansas at 5333. Birthday shout out to his buddy Sean. Sir Chris Sunderberg, Baronet of the Vortex Ring State in Mercer Island, Washington, 51.
Yep.
Sir Andrew Benz in Imperial, Missouri, 5005. And the following people are $50 donors, name and location, starting with Jamie Hilliard in Newman, Georgia, 50. Julia Burns in Victoria, BC. Sir John Camp in Antlers, Oklahoma. Mary LeBourier in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Cassidy Eastwood in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with another birthday.
For Dave.
By the way, I should mention that Julia Burns was donating for Winston Smith, so Winston gets a shout out.
Okay.
Jessica Young in Yuba City. Philip Ballou, I'm sure. Louisville, Kentucky. David Chalona in Madisonville, Louisiana. Bill Carey in San Francisco, California. Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas. Sir Scott Lavender, I believe. And Sir Chris Slowinski in Sherwood Park, Alberta. Kevin O'Brien in Chicago, Illinois. Sir Jerry Wingenroth in Saugus, California. And last, Eric Solano in Howell, New Jersey. I want to thank these folks for producing show 1330.
Wow. Nice. I've loved the donations. This has been a very, the notes, everything's nice. Very good. Enjoyable. Thank you all for your courage. You are proud producers of episode 1330 of the best podcast in the universe. You know it as the No Agenda Show. We have no ambies, but we're still the best. And everyone who came in under 50, probably on one of our many subscriptions that are sustaining donations. If you'd like to find out more, if you'd like to help, please go to Dvorak.org/NA. Handy jingle to remember it by.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And before we do the birthdays, just a tip of the hat. A love and light, rest in peace to Lou Ottens, Dutch inventor of the cassette tape. who passed away at 94.
Yes.
And I used his product, his invention a lot, and so I really appreciate it. And thank you for your
Another
courage.
invention that everyone predicted would go nowhere.
Well, we're going to the birthday list as we move on down the month. It being the 18th, Phil Ballou says happy birthday to his two eldest children, March 9th and March 11th subsequently. Hans Lux, happy birthday to his brother Klaus, who turned 40 on March 14th. Mike Kowalczyk, happy birthday to his best friend Joe G from NJ, New Jersey, 33 last week. Kevin Risinger, 29 today. Tabitha Week says happy birthday to her amazing husband Mike Boyles. Danielle Grossenbacher, happy birthday to her son Colin Onifray, who turns 24 today. And there it is, Colin, 24 today. Sir Brian Tobiasen, his buddy Sean in South Carolina, turns 42 tomorrow. Eric Callahan, happy birthday to daughter Grace Bond, also a No Agenda listener, 14 on the 20th. Sir Andy of Terrigal Beach, happy birthday to his smoking hot girl Kylie the Keeper, 47 on the 20th. Mark Stewart is Melissa Chastain's smoking hot boyfriend. He'll be 46 on the 20th. She says, hey. Cassidy Edwards Eastwood, happy birthday to her best friend Dave. Jasmine Pyers, congratulations to her husband Sir Wire of the Hidden Jewel, turned 60. And Sir Pipkin of the Space Coast is turning 30. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah. Title changes, turn and face the slate. Title changes, don't wanna be a douchebag.
Yeah, Sir Puck of Western North Carolina is no douchebag, has upped the ante to another $1,000 in support of the No Agenda show, and today changes his title to a baronet and becomes Baronet Puck of Western North Carolina. We thank you for your courage, very much so. We have 3 knightings, so I suggest we get our 1330 blades out.
Here you go.
Okay, perfect. Up on the podium, please, Michael Carlin, Gerald, and Dustin Duguid. It's a Dewey Gooey. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your support of the No Agenda show. The amount of $1,000 or more, that gives you a well-deserved spot at the round table of our knights and dames. It gives you all kinds of privileges. It gives you a name, and you're on your way to higher spaces in the peerage. And I hereby am proud to pronounce the Sir Michael Douglas Carlin, Sir Gerald Barber and Farmer of Central Kansas, and Sir Teffiad Skeptic. For you, gentlemen, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Vodka and Vermouth, Ramen and Rosé, Ginger Ale and Gerbils. But I know what you really want is you want the mutton and mead. We've got it for you. NoAgendaNation.com/rings. Eric the Shield will take care of you. And along with the honor, along with the titles, and of course the respect, comes the Knight Ring. The No Agenda Knight Ring, which is very handsome ring with some sealing wax because it is a signet ring and an official certification of authenticity. And thank you very much for supporting No Agenda. For those of you who'd like to be in this illustrious list, Dvorak.org/NA.
No Agenda meetups.
We got a couple of meetup reports. This is where No Agenda producers gather together. And we have one written report from the 14th of March. And this is from Ruthie, the Freedom Warrior, who was at the Malieveld. That's where the protest took place, one of the protests in the Netherlands. And they did a meetup. Hey, guys, Dame of the Doomsday Deniers encouraged me to give a boots-on-the-ground report to you boys of the events last Sunday. Inspired by Adam's enthusiasm to just start a meetup, I did just that. Seeing as the corona restrictions are tight here in Holland, not being able to have more than one visitor per day, not being able to go outside with more than one person, evening clock, that's a curfew, etc., I thought the perfect place to meet is at a protest. What could possibly go wrong? I quickly realized that my naive intentions could be used against me to frame me for organizing the whole protest out of fear of legal persecution, which there is recent precedent for here in Holland, took the meeting offline. Better safe than sorry. Fighting for freedom while meeting new Gitmo friends is great, but there are limits. Now, she does say a little bit about the Sunday protests, especially important, seeing as we're having elections this week in the Netherlands. Yes, the results are in. Seems like the European Union has their shills getting all the votes for the EU parties. Armed with my NA sign and heart balloon, I headed off to The Hague, epicenter of international injustice and national oppression, to make a stand and see who would join my alternative meetup. The protest was to start at 2 o'clock. My smoking hot husband and I arrived just short of 1 o'clock. The Malieveld was already locked down. 200 protesters already on the field, so the cops would not let anyone else in because 200 was the limit. You can have 20,000 at this, if not more, at this field. Meanwhile, there was a steady influx of people from all sides to protest at the Malieveld. Anyway, it's a very long story, but I did put it into the show notes. She did not get beaten up, which is the good news. But that was there was a semi-clandestine meetup in The Hague. And there was a mini meetup of a complete different structure in Charleston.
Hey guys, it's Dame Jennifer in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, and you will never believe who's here with me.
Anyways, it's DC Girl on the road visiting all my favorite producers in the morning.
This is Roundy, and while I would like to have John C. Dvorak's love child, I am alas infertile, so I'm going to pass it over to my main man, Jason.
Hey, it's Jason, and damn it, we've been invaded by the Yankees again!
In the morning.
Yes, libations were consumed, no doubt. Very good. Dame Jennifer there.
I would say.
They're having some fun.
Bunch of drunks.
Hey, but this is what's good. You know, you can get drunk and not be worried you're going to say something that's going to piss people off. In fact, that's what meetups are best for, along with meeting other people. Castroville.
In the morning, John and Adam checking in from Castroville, Texas, where we're making friends and killing bottles.
Successfully hit 2 people in the mouth today.
Hey, this is San Antonio Beach in the morning. Thanks for shrinking my amygdala. Did I say that right?
De San Antonio, Texas. Sí, San Antonio. Solamente quiero decir gracias por su valentía y su valor.
This is Judy from Bernie, Texas. All I gotta say is I love you, John. I love you, John.
As an older gentleman, as a United States Marine, as a patriot who loves his country, these darkest times have been seen before. If the Founding Fathers had cowered, as I see my fellow citizens doing, we would not have a nation today. This is not the time for cowardice. This is the time for bold action. Take that action.
Stop the clip.
Or we will.
That guy, call, write in, do something, sounds exactly like Mike Pence. Now, at first I thought he was trying to do a Mike Pence. But then I noticed, I think he naturally sounds like Mike Pence. We could have a lot of fun with that.
He's saying something pretty
No, I like what he's saying, too, but I'm just saying I was distracted by the fact that he sounds like Mike Pence.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. We'll just play him out here.
As an older gentleman, as a United States Marine, as a patriot who loves his country, these darkest times have been seen before. If the Founding Fathers had cowered, as I see my fellow citizens doing, we would not have a nation today. This is not the time for cowardice. This is the time for bold action. Take that action, or we will all live as slaves.
In the morning!
I like what he said, except that...
Well, what he said was that if the Founding Fathers were like we are today, we'd be Canada. What he said.
Yeah. Too bad he hadn't gotten the memo that it's enslaved, but okay. It's all right. They got that wrong. Hey, here's what's coming up on the No Agenda Meetup calendar. There's a lot going on, and it's a good time to get out there, hang. It's like the TEDx of the No Agenda show. People enjoy meeting other people, and there've been some romances even. If you're looking forward after this Rona. Today, Charlotte's Thirsty Thursday meetup, 7 o'clock at Triple C Brewing. We have Dave Fugazotto doing the, what is that? Yes, it's the Rabble Rousin in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 4 o'clock. That is tomorrow.
Him and his buddy, his new pal.
Yeah. at least one of them.
There's got to be more people. He's got to have at least 2 or 3 people there at this meetup.
Well, if you're in Riyadh, then get over there. Also on Friday, the Gator Rodeo in Jackson, Madison, Mississippi. Georgia Blue is the venue. Brand new on the calendar at the 20th in Nelson, British Columbia. Canada meetup, 3 o'clock at Torchlight Brewery. Also on Saturday, 505 Albuquerque, New Mexico at Sidetrack Brewery. Sir Jeffrey Twohig, still going strong, long-time supporter of the show. No Agenda meetup, Burlington, Ontario, Canada, who John just insulted on Saturday at Ye Old Squire.
I'll hear about it, believe me.
Kinney Store, Texas. There'll be 2-stepping at 6:30 in the Kinney Store on Saturday. Also, Houston Raging Surge of Fourth Wave Super Spreader Luncheon at noon, and you can join at the Rodeo Goat. Moscow has their meetup at Depot Moscow on Saturday. Alexander served the Northern Territories. He's also been a longtime supporter, so make sure you check that out. And Sunday, the 21st, Pittsburgh's Best Chili Cook-Off in the Universe at 4:30. It's a meetup. Sir Andrew of the Unapologetic Pale Males and Emma Bloomer are hosting it at their house. That's a meetup I'd like to go to with a chili cook-off.
I think that was an interesting posting.
And that's a good one. I like it. All right, coming up in March, Springfield, Missouri, the 22nd, the 25th, Pensacola, Florida, 26th, Peterborough, Ontario, 27th, Memphis, Tennessee, Melbourne, Australia, Dayton, Ohio, San Francisco, Local 406, Florence, Montana, all on the 27th, and Viola, Wisconsin kicks off April. To find out more, where you can meet up with your fellow No Agenda producers and the other enslaved of Gitmo Nation, go to noagendameetups.com. No Agenda Meetups, whatever you think it is, it's like a party.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
I have no end of show ISOs, so I'm counting on you, brother.
Well, I have 2. I don't know that they're good. Okay. I didn't have that carryover from last time.
Okay. Keep talking the mic, man. You're not hitting the noise gate.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not even looking at the mic. Try this one. Try goats.
Goats.
Is global warming causing goats to shrink?
I mean, it's long, but a goat is always favored here on the show.
Goats, is it causing goats to shrink? This is another one, part of the series of the show I'm putting together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, try this one. Tenderizing.
Tenderizing, okay.
Is global...
Oops, sorry. Here we go.
Tenderizing meat. Tenderizing meat.
Kind of the beginning's cut off.
Tenderizing meat.
Is global warming causing goats to shrink?
I mean, it's hard. That's all we got, huh?
Well, there's a carryover from the last show.
Okay, what's that?
That was the one, see if I can find my clip list from the last show. What show was that? Well, here it is. I hated that.
Okay.
Is global...
I keep
Jeez, what are you doing here?
I don't know.
God, I hated that.
Oh, no, I like that one. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. That's an end of show ISO. That's Peterson.
God, I hated that.
God, I hated that. Yeah. Now that's how you end a show. God, I hated that. Yeah. That's tongue in cheek. We're hilarious. That's us, baby. That's us. Okay.
So we have.
I can clean up some stuff here.
You got a kibitzer going in your office there?
What?
Said something. I thought someone was in there.
No one's in here.
Oh. Quick, let's try this. There's a clip. Gavin Newsom clip so we can catch up with what he's up to. Quick hit Newsom.
Yeah, this is the governor of California on the recall tip, yeah.
In California, organizers seeking to recall Governor Gavin Newsom face a deadline today to submit 1.5 million petition signatures to get their proposal on the ballot. The Democratic governor's popularity has fallen as some Californians remain outraged over his handling of the pandemic.
Man, she's breathless in that. What did you hear? She's like trying to catch her breath. Listen to that.
Face a deadline today to submit.
No, but listen to it.
Gavin Newsom face a deadline today to submit 1.5 million petition signatures to get their proposal on the ballot. The Democratic governor's popularity has fallen as some Californians remain outraged over his handling of the pandemic.
She has a breathing problem. There's something wrong with her.
She also smacks her lips once in a while. She's dyed her hair Jen Psaki red.
Oh, well, that's her problem. I have a Psaki clip that's kind of funny. It's about the immigration crisis at the border. We need a solution. Now, this is only for you historical producers, for you history buffs who will get the joke, as Peter Ducey of Fox asked Jen Psaki what the solution is.
Does FEMA's arrival at the border mean that the administration feels what is happening down at the border is a disaster?
I know that we always get into the fun of labels around here, but I would say our focus is on solutions, and this is one of the steps that the president felt would help not become a final solution, but help expedite processing, help ensure that...
It's not the final solution. Now, we know what the final solution is. Damn, man.
You'd think you wouldn't even have that in that phrase would be like blacked out of your brain if you were a public spokesperson.
Yeah, spokeshole should not be advocating for genocide. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's funny.
I got one. This one was never corrected. This is under borders open in Spanish.
Mixed messages at the Texas-Mexico border.
The administration's point woman for the border, Ambassador Roberta Jacobson, said it in English.
The border is not open.
But at first in Spanish, she mistakenly said the opposite, that the border is not closed.
La frontera no está cerrada.
Jacobson said smugglers are spreading misinformation, but she acknowledged Joe Biden's election may have sent a signal to those who would come north.
Surges tend to respond to hope.
She urged migrants not to try a journey she called dangerous. At least not now.
We will have legal processes for people in the future.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News.
She sounds exactly like Kamala Harris.
Yes, you're right.
Noticed it.
Yeah.
So this must be a milieu thing because people start sounding the same because they're hanging out with each other.
I guess.
But she said the thing in Spanish. Yeah, the borders are open. Come on up, and it blames Biden. And then she never corrected the Spanish misstatement.
Why would
she
you?
Did it in English, but she wouldn't do it in Spanish.
All she's thinking of is the final solution, so which she's not allowed to talk about. It's not the final solution. That's not the final thing we got going on in the background.
What is going on in the background?
God knows. Why, are you hearing something?
No.
Oh. And this is just random. And I was paying attention to it because I'm interested in the Federal Reserve Board, or I guess Jay Powell, decided not to raise interest rates. Although there was it some
for years and years.
I know. Well, here's Yellen. She is the Secretary of the Treasury. And I just thought it was good to hear what her thoughts were, because I think Powell got all the play, but Yellen not so much.
Back in 2017, you testified that long-term budget projections should keep people awake at night. The situation is worse now. Federal debt expected to exceed GDP for the first time since World War II. So are you getting any sleep?
I am getting sleep. My views have changed somewhat about fiscal sustainability, in part because what we've seen all around the world is a trend toward very low interest rates. Interest rates in the United States are much lower than they were in past decades, and you see that in all developed countries around the world. And it reflects structural trends that are not going to disappear soon. And when I think about the burden of debt, I think about it mainly in terms of the interest payments that the government needs to pay on that debt. And in spite of the fact that the debt has increased substantially, interest payments relative to the size of the economy have remained quite low, no higher than they were back in 2007. But
now, I wonder if she's okay. She rests peacefully, and she says, "Really, it's kind of like 2007." Wasn't that like the year that we should have known 2008 was coming?
Well, some people knew.
Right, but if she's saying, "Oh, it's cool, it's just like 2007," the first thing that I don't know, I have no idea what I'm talking about, other than I hear this and I think, wait, it's just like 2007. Hello, and she's talking about structural trends. Like, does that mean we're going to have a crash?
We had a real estate bubble.
Yeah, right. But don't we have? Yes, don't we have a stock bubble?
Obscure way of putting it.
That's the first thing.
We definitely have a stock bubble going on and a Bitcoin bubble, and there's a number of bubbles. Whether or not it could be a new base. That's the problem with the stock market. It could be a new base for a big run up where it really goes flying.
Yeah.
Or it could be a bubble. We're sitting on a bubble.
Okay, well, that's my point. It's like, just when you say that, it's like, 2007, I feel good.
Well, it was the wrong year for her to pick. If she had said 2005, she would. Yes. If she had said 2005, it would have been the same, because I don't think it changed between 2005 and 2007 that much.
Right.
So she could have said 2005 and just passed it off.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, as I was hearing that, because I didn't hear this before, that she was going to say something like 1999 or 2001.
This is what struck me as so odd. Why pick 2007? Like, dumb year. I couldn't help it.
Well, maybe it's a hidden message. We don't know. As we know, people talk in codes. We do sometimes.
Well, yeah.
But we only know amongst ourselves. We don't know what other people's codes are. That's the problem with 33.
Well, I think she's talking about a bubble.
She's giving a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the all knowing.
Why not?
To the cognoscenti.
The Illuminati, the Boule, baby. It's all of those people. All right, let's get out of here.
Could be, because there's been a number of guys have come out and said they were having a crash in April.
Okay, in April. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think Bitcoin is a bubble, but that's my personal opinion.
Well, you can think whatever you want. It doesn't make any difference.
I know. I'm just saying it.
I could think it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference.
It's a bubble. It's a bubble. If it's not, it's not. It's just, you don't know until it pops. And then the pus comes out.
Hey! It's my line. All right, everybody. We will return on Sunday and bring you another episode of your weekly media deconstruction of the M5M. We got some great end-of-show mixes. Cord McPhill, Jesse Coy Nelson. I'm very happy to have another mix from Jesse. We got Professor JJ and Mr. Miyagi's Wild Ride. Coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com, random thoughts coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Texas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where I notice we have another Hollywood producer, and still no bit part for me. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here on No Agenda. Until then, adios, mofos! And such.
Now it's time for America's favorite game show. Name that Weinstein. Or is it Weinstein? Here's our first clue. This Weinstein has a podcast.
Everybody has a podcast. This is another complaint of mine. Eric Weinstein, unbeknownst to me, because I thought his brother was going to be the podcaster, he started up a podcast.
Eric Weinstein has a podcast? I didn't see that.
I sent it to you.
That's Brett Weinstein. That's podcast. Brett Weinstein. Dark Horse is sorry. Brett Weinstein.
No, Eric had the podcast first.
Brett, not Eric.
Okay, well, they both have podcasts.
He has a podcast. Who the hell knows what he's doing?
Okay, he's good. Tell me he has.
The Portal? Brett.
Yes. Yeah, Brett. Eric.
Brett, not Eric.
Reports of Senator Jesse Coy Nelson burning out in any way are nothing more than pure cracked plate fabrication.
Atrocious. 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 Atrocious.
Which whack ass be talking about burning out? Ain't no burning out around here.
We got some things to do. Big things for you.
Every Sunday and Thursday on NA Social. Exclusive Senator Jesse Coy Nelson before the show mix.
It gives me a tingly feeling whenever I listen to him.
Which whack ass be talking about burning out? Ain't no burning out around here.
Atrocious. Atrocious.
Sundays and Thursdays, the greatest singer in the universe.
Atrocious.
I will stand by my constituency.
Reports of Senator Jesse Coy Nelson burning out in any way are nothing more than pure cracked plate fabrication.
Atrocious. Atrocious.
Every Sunday and Thursday on NA Social. Exclusive Senator Jesse Coy Nelson before the show mix.
He is here for you. He will always be here for you.
Which whack ass be talking about burning out? Ain't no burning out around here.
Senator JCN.
Everything to get a laugh. It's all for good fun.
Atrocious.
Give me a better fucking microphone.
Specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man.
Look.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. That's a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway. And they literally had to take the top of my head off. I mean, they take a saw and they cut your head off. And
look.
Come on, man. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know. What are my chances of getting off this table and being completely normal? If he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Every profession has their sick jokes. In good times, communities of color still lag. Think of the millions of children who were sitting by the television watching that cop smash the head of George against the curb. I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. It's a joke. I'm going to beat Joe Biden. You wear the mask so you don't make somebody else sick. Sick. What's with this guy?
Marriage is between a man and a woman. What's the game going on here?
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
The world's going to Hades in a handbasket.
That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? I'm going to give you the whole load today. Come on, man. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Let the American public judge my physical and as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
No AstraZeneca in Spain, but the vaxxers wanna use it. Say the blood clot's never seen there. It's the truth, so don't confuse it. You can't abuse it, you gotta choose it, so don't refuse it. Well, I never had corona, but I kinda trust the Fauci. So I'm thinking about the Pfizer or Moderna if it strikes me. Oh, there's consensus. Oh, folks, it's best if you get your shot. Just take your shot. Well, I never been to heaven. Dr. Gates might know a shortcut. COVID vaccines kill the hammer, but they say it's just a rumor. Was it the hammer or Marvin Hagler? What does it matter? What does it matter?
mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
God, I hated that.